What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Throwdown Your Questions, episode 77. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and today I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
Do you bleed? I do.
Chris Seeley.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Brian Manjoma.
Daylight savings is over. Fuck you, farmers. Daylight savings.
And Brett Murdoch.
I may not be the host you want, but I'm the one you deserve.
Oh, man. All right, so this show is a little bit different than the usual ones, and we always do, whoever asks us questions first, we answer them. Since you guys asked us a lot of comic book questions, specifically Batman versus Superman questions, what we're going to do is we're going to just do video game questions first, then general comic book questions, and then end it off with Batman. If you have not seen Batman, even though we have done a spoiler alert,
Batman v Superman.
Yeah, Batman v Superman. We're going to talk about that at the end of the show. So if you haven't seen it, just stop the show at that point and come back later after you have seen it.
We'll give you a bit of a warning.
Yes, we will give you a very big warning, because we don't want to spoil it for you guys. So
maybe we should play that song, that noise that we play at the the Inception horde at the point that we're that we're going to start spoiling the film.
No, we'll just play Batman's theme song. Anyway, so quick shout out to Erica that was on Throwdown 77. Really cool having her on the show and stuff. A lot of fun. And I want to make a little bit of an apology to our boy Will Wiggins. He's the guy I forgot to mention that was on episode 76. I was like, I know I'm forgetting somebody because there was like 1 million people on that episode. So yeah, shout out to Will Wiggins, who I don't think was very happy with Batman or Superman either. But then again, half the people are, half the people aren't. Let's get into it. Fan questions. Final stage boss. I've read quite a few comments about a media bias in the gaming industry. Do you agree that there is a media bias? Okay, I know what he's getting at because he's trying to say that because there's a lot of people saying that there is a bias for Sony, like the industry is pro Sony and anti Microsoft. That's where he's coming at it from.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Brett.
I mean, they're the entrenched leader. The industry always gives preferential treatment to the entrenched leader because they have a bigger market base and more potential for profit. That's basic business sense.
So you think they purposely shit on Microsoft and prop up Sony?
No. They don't shit on Microsoft, but they
remember this is the question is based in. Do that's
no. I understand. Well, like it's not okay. Again, we come back to, and I feel like I'm always talking about this, so I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, but we come back to like you can wear your tinfoil hat. It's just not as obvious as you think that it is. It's not that people hate Microsoft and they're going to try and bring up Sony. It's that Sony's selling well. Sony has a lot of people who have bought it. These people who have bought it would probably like to read news about the Sony machine that they bought. And usually, if you talk shit on a product that somebody owns, they're not really going to come and read your articles. So you have a situation where it's, by inches and degrees, it's more advantageous to break news that is positive about the PlayStation than it is to just break a negative opinion article on why it's bad. So you end up having this focus more on the positive than on the negative. And it should be that, but because it is an industry frontliner, then you kind of get the impression that people are lining up to suck Sony's dick. Like, no, people are in line to get paid by their respective media outlets for telling a story that you want to hear because that story is related to a product that has a large following or an entrenched market already. It's sense by inches and degrees, not by large tinfoil hattery.
Okay, what do you think about these people saying that they purposely look for negative things to write about Microsoft?
I would say that I would say that these people are not one group of people. This is a whole group of people. If you get 100 people together, there's always going to be 2 people that are at odds with each other or who believe completely different things. But it can all be traced back to the same thing where you read the article, didn't you? It's called clickbait. It gets people mad. So yeah, there are people out there who are writing articles to basically the millions of people that already own Sony PlayStations wanting to hear about Sony PlayStation stuff and why their decision process was a great decision process. They have the better system, and yay for them. Yeah, people are totally going to want to read that article. And then people that don't like it, the fanboys, they want to see an article on why why PlayStation is bad or why Xbox is bad. There's hate articles on both sides, and they're just fucking bullshit clickbait again to drive revenue at media outlets. They can say an apple is orange and then another article that says an apple is red, and you'll click and read both fucking articles, and they get the ad revenue from both fucking articles. So I guess at the end of the day, they don't fucking care as long as they have your attention and have you talking, and that's what all of this is.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't believe there is a media bias when it comes to which console they prefer. I don't see it, on my end at least as a reporter. I don't see it at all. Like,
well, not in which they prefer, but like if you're talking about, if you have the option to write out an article about why Xbox is great or an article about why PlayStation is great, you're going to get more viewers if you write the PlayStation is great article, right? And so I'm not saying you're going to change your opinion, but by a very small margin, that means a few more people are going to write about PlayStation being great than about Xbox being great. Now, is that a bias of the industry? Absolutely. But is that a bias that pervades the industry but is held by individuals? No, I don't think so. And that's the distinction I want to make. There's no one person who wants to do this. The system is kind of set up in a way that it rewards a mild bias.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. This is going into tin hattery, as you said. A lot of these guys are coming from the belief that media people actually get together and go, hey, how can we shit on Microsoft today?
That right there.
The cigarette smoking man is not sitting there with the industry going.
And by the way, and these complaints are coming. The guys talking about media bias is the Xbox guys. Let's just be honest.
Listen,
go ahead, man. You know what I'm trying to get at, right?
I know, but I'm gonna say this: fucking Sony had it way worse when Microsoft was up at the top. Remember, fucking Gabe Newell going out there saying, "Oh, hey, I will never support the PlayStation. They are done. They're going away. Blah blah blah." All these guys coming against this stuff for PlayStation 3.
Yeah,
and then
to be honest,
his tune later.
Yeah, he changed his tune later when But the thing is, it's you guys are getting mad just because there's certain things that are being done, and there's that Sony is doing better in this round. Why? It doesn't matter. Because again, we keep on saying this. Microsoft is going to work their fucking hardest to get you to get a Microsoft product, any Microsoft product, even now since PC and Microsoft are one.
I go ahead, Chris, and then I got something to say.
I was just going to say, I don't see any conspiracy against Microsoft in terms of this specific question. I don't see this. I don't see members of IGN and GameSpot or whatever are not getting into a room and lighting up cigars and going, gee, how can we rake Phil Spencer over the coals? That is not happening. There's no active effort to make them look bad. That's ridiculous to me.
You know who's raking Phil Spencer over the fucking coals? You guys are raking him over the
Xbox fans. The Xbox fans are doing it.
The Xbox fans themselves, the ones that are nuts about Xbox, you're raking that guy over the coals for opening up the Xbox, for opening up Xbox to PC,
other people.
To other people.
Yeah, because they don't want other people to play their precious Xbox games, so they're getting mad at Phil Spencer. Phil Spencer is doing a really great job, but these guys are shitting all over him. So it's like you guys are the ones that are kind of biased here towards Phil Spencer and what he's trying to do, But yeah, the whole thing of there's a media bias that's directed against Microsoft to destroy them. No, guys, stop with the bullshit. Stop with the bullshit, please. Ryan, get in here, man.
I don't think there is a media bias. I think that's just tinfoil hat style conspiracy. Because I specifically remember way back when the PS3 first got launched, it was getting dragged through the coal mines. I mean, it was seriously just getting hammered by everyone. And now it just seems okay, now it's Xbox turn, or now people have said, okay, PS4 is the better one this generation, so let's try good things about it. And people generally don't like Microsoft and what it's doing with their consoles. So I don't think it's a media bias per se. I think it's more a case of people just have their preferred platforms and they're writing about said preferred platforms more than other platforms. And that just seems to be what it is to me. So it's not really bias. It's just hey, I like this console. I like what it's doing, so I'll write about it. And then some people just see that as bias, which is weird, since it's just people writing about what they like.
Yeah, or what's going on, it's crazy. All right, next question here from Final Stage Boss. Would you rather have a game with a good but short campaign, or a not so good but long campaign? We've kind of touched on this before.
Yeah.
You guys already know my answer. I prefer a 2-hour game that's really kick-ass over a 60-hour game that's kind of meh.
I'm the same way. You look at a game like Journey. Journey's a very short game when but what you play in that time, it's great for what you get. I feel also there's a couple of other games that are out there that have relatively short campaigns, but I feel like they've made the best of what they could, and to artificially extend them would be a disservice to the actual game.
Yeah, exactly. He's just throwing in fluff that's unnecessary. Kind of like a certain movie we saw this weekend.
Are you guys assuming that the campaign is the meat of the game?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, that kind of... we've talked about this. In my eyes, Manny's eyes, too, that is the meat of the game. That's the heart and soul of it.
I know a lot of Fallout fans that would argue with you.
Yeah, but Fallout, that is... I know
it has a mediocre campaign. Fallout 4 specifically, nobody gives a shit about the main story.
I like
nobody
it.
cared about Sean.
I give a shit about it. You
cared about Sean?
Yeah, I wanted to find out the whole thing, dude. I wanted, it was interesting to me. That whole thing kind of led me through the story.
But the thing is that Fallout is a different animal.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Does that
and the thing is,
Fallout type of animal included in this question?
Also, here's the other thing. All of the stuff it's in the main. If you just played the main campaign of Fallout, you still have to play those side missions and other things in order to continue forward because they force you to do that.
Not exactly. You kind of have to do them if you want to level up or something. But that's not. You could run through just the main stuff and not even touch the side stuff.
But even so, if you played for you, Tony, if you played if you just played the main campaign of Fallout, would you say that was actually satisfying, that journey?
That one was more satisfying in 3. That's for sure. Yeah, I would be satisfied with it. It was pretty good. It wasn't great, but it was good.
And the thing is that for at least for Fallout, all of the different parts seem to be well cooked.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the Fallout type games are the exception to the rule. I just want to make if you're asking me, would I rather have a game with a not so good campaign but an open world that's full of decent content? I'd absolutely rather have that all day long. I generally don't care about a campaign that I'm forced into as much as building my own narrative. I have much more fun in games when I can tell you my story as opposed to the story that got laid out. So in answer to the question, I would say absolutely that. Unless you want to take all Fallout type games and all quality side content off the table. And are you actually saying, would I rather have a good short game or a crappy full-on open world game and just take the word campaign completely out of it? And my answer then changes. So that's the reason I make that distinction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's fair enough. Chris, what do you say?
I agree with you guys. I'd rather have a really good short campaign. I think of it like having a meal, right? Would you rather have a filet mignon that's delicious, or would you rather a big, mediocre piece of flank steak? I'll take the filet mignon, man. I might be a little hungry, but it's gonna be delicious,
Yeah.
Not that short campaign, man. That's good.
Brian, stop playing Warframe.
I saw you playing Warframe.
I saw you. I'm on Steam right now too, Brian. I saw you, man.
Damn, that was my secret.
You need to get the version of the GOG version of Warframe where no one can see what you're doing at all.
Just so the people at home know, what's going through my mind. I'm like, okay, guys, let's get ready to do the show, and then on my little left-hand side there, Brian, Warframe, and then I hit record. Hilarious. Anyway, Brian, go ahead.
Sure, but sweet any day, because there's no point of drudging myself through 10 hours of nonsense. What's the point?
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. I mean, I feel like, especially with a lot of what some games suffer through, where it's artificial game extension, where they don't have enough faith in their actual narrative. And they start to throw in a bunch of things, essentially it's in order to get here, you have to do these 20 other things in order to get there, as opposed to it being a part of the same thing. It's like,
man, like Metal Gear Solid 5, dude. It's like, dude,
yeah,
wait, really?
Metal Gear Solid 5 suffers, as much as I like the game, suffers from a campaign that has been watered down. That they artificially, in general, artificially extend the time of things in order for you to go and grind in an episode, or grind in the open world.
Hey, man, here's one for you, man. Puppeteer. That game, I didn't finish that game. It was too fucking long.
The Puppeteer, again, another game that, as great as the platforming was in that game, I feel like I feel like they just put too much into it. Right, like, in other words, it's like, there are a couple levels you could just kind of let go because we're kind of getting bored here now.
Yeah. All right. Next question here. Himdeal. What brand resolution TV monitor are you all gaming on? How much did it cost? He's talking about gaming PCs and shit, gaming monitors and stuff.
Gaming monitors?
Yeah, like what monitor do you use? What brand is it? How much did it cost?
I use an Asus right now. I bought that a couple of years ago. I guess the resolution is pretty high. It's good for what I do. I do a lot of artwork, and it has HDMI and all that stuff. It theoretically is almost like a better version of a TV.
Yeah, I mean, as far as gaming goes, PC game, I use my TV 1080p and all that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be playing. Yeah.
You guys would fucking scream if you ever see the size and the resolution of Tony's current monitor.
Yeah, it was a 1366 by 768. It's
a little tiny baby TV monitor.
Yeah, exactly. And I wouldn't want to, like, again, why would I want to game on my monitor when I have a television right there? It's more comfortable with me. Chris.
I got a Dell 24-inch LCD. I forget what the max resolution is on this thing. It only cost me like $180 when I bought it. I bought it on sale from like Newegg or something a few years ago.
Nice. As I remember at the time when you got it, I mean, Dell. I remember out of all the things that Dell makes, I remember Dell making actually having really good monitors.
Yeah, it's a pretty good monitor. I'm happy with it.
All right, Brian.
I have a AOC something or another. I got it mainly because it was a 27-inch monitor that was an IPS panel, and it basically means that the viewing angles are just amazing, like no more glare from the side or anything like that. So it's really good.
Right.
Yeah. 1080p. I was tempted to get the 1440p one, but I didn't see the point of making the jump now when I can just make the jump later on.
There you go. All right, Brett.
I used to have an amazing LG that I think its resolution was 1920 by 1680. It was about 24 inches, had a million colors, and a response time of less than a millisecond. It was fucking glorious, and it died about 8 months ago. And now I'm running this crappy off-brand Scepter monitor that flickers and is already dying, and I'm pretty fucking bitter about.
Yeah, you hear it in your voice, man. Damn. All right. Next up, and here's where we're gonna start kind of jumping back and forth between different people and stuff. All right. Fern Gully. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Himdeal has one question because they're both kind of related. So Himdeal's last question is: do you think 4K gaming will be standard for next-gen consoles? Or will they be fiddling around in 1080p? Yes, I said P. He wrote 1080p. It doesn't work when you say it. It only works when it's written.
Maybe you just have to go P.
Yeah, it only works when it's written. So yeah, do you think I don't know, man. Like, let's say okay. Actually, here's my question: when do you think 4K will become standard? Period.
Never.
Never.
I think I don't think it's going to be never, but I think it's going to be a few years because again, 4K televisions and monitors are very expensive.
Yeah, right now. Yeah.
Right now, I think once it comes along where when that stuff starts to become affordable, where it essentially just becomes the TV that you can go out and buy right now for not for a decent price. I think that's when it becomes becomes an issue or something.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
When it becomes the what do they call it, the norm, or what would you call it, the generic TV, the generic TV that you get out there, when it becomes that version of it, that's when 4K media will matter.
They're trying to push us towards it. It needs a standard. Like there's two 4K output standards, right? There's Sony's and Samsung's. This needs to be unified before this is mainstream, right? You can't have Panasonic adopting one 4K output spec and then have Samsung has their own and then somebody else adopts theirs. You can't have two specs. It has to be the same spec. Also, they're basically going to force us. Like they're pushing. LCDs are going to go the way of plasma eventually, and it's just going to be LEDs and this. It's slowly, advancing, but they're definitely pushing it. When I go shop at Costco or whatever, the first thing you see is 4K TVs. There's a bunch of, even Vizio has 4K TVs and stuff. They're just slowly replacing everything. Yeah, we're not going to have an option.
A handful of years ago, wasn't that a bunch of 3D TVs at the front of Costco?
Right, but 3D TVs was a gimmick. This isn't a gimmick. This is just going to be the next standard.
I think the issue with the 3D TV thing is that they were trying to sell you an alternate TV rather than just including the feature in every single TV. I think people would have been more inclined to adopt it if it was just a part of the any TV that you got. So if you bought a Sony or any one of them, it automatically had 3D, and you didn't need to pay $1,000 for a fucking pair of dumb 3D glasses.
Yeah, here's my problem. Like, I'm all for higher resolution, especially in gaming, but there comes a point where a 4K TV looks really good. Does it look the difference between a standard definition and a high definition TV? Not really. Do you spend 4 times the processing power rendering an image on a 4K TV than you would a smaller monitor? Yes, you absolutely do. And then while it's an important shift and while it is better, I can't really say that it's much. If I'm looking at TVs, I can look at a 1080 TV that has true blacks in it, like actual true blacks, and pay a little bit more for that, or look at a 4K TV that doesn't have true blacks. Like, it becomes one of many factors that I look at when buying a TV. So that kind of makes me want to say, like, as far as just straight up viewing goes, I don't think that it's pervasive enough. I don't think it's wanted enough that it's going to become the new standard, that it's going to become in everybody's living room. And in terms of games, like the higher your resolution goes, it becomes significantly harder to run games on. And so we're just at the point now where we haven't even topped out 1080 to a certain extent. Like, we're still figuring out how to pull the power out of these systems. It's not like we have extra power that we don't know what we're going to fucking do with it. Like, God forbid you make more expansive levels or better AI or more reactive models or things like that. It's not like we need these fucking better graphics. And instead, they just drain the processing power and make these fucking shitty-ass Call of Duty clone games that are really super limited in what you can do. They're just super pretty. So I guess because of all of these things, like, I don't really see a reason for it not to become the standard, but I don't really see a driving reason why everybody's going to want a 4K TV, because the viewing experience on TV isn't that much better. Standardized broadcasting, it doesn't broadcast a whole lot of things in 4K. It's difficult to have a PC rig that can game at 4K unless you're willing to spend a fortune.
Yeah, I mean, here's the way I see it. Next gen, I think 1080p is probably going to be the standard, because it isn't even the standard now. Let's just be honest. Like, Xbox games are all 900p. Some PlayStation games are 900p. I think 1080p will be the standard, because that's what that's kind of the next little step. As far as 4K goes, like you guys said, there just isn't like enough of demand out there for it at the moment. So for next gen specifically, no.
Also, 4K only really matters on big TVs. Like, when you get a big TV, that matters. So, like, there's not going to be every asshole needs a 4K TV. I think personally what we're going to see in the next generation is, because VR seems to be coming forward, you're going to actually see graphics falling backwards, because it's going to take so much more processing power to render an environment in 3D VR. So you're going to see graphics drop backwards, and then we're going to have to work to get the processing power back up to the point where we can render a 3D VR area in full high-def graphics. Like, it's not that we're going to have trouble rendering more advanced games on our current resolution. So I don't think that we're going to all automatically explode and all need 4K resolution, which is essentially 4 times what you have now.
Yeah. Chris, what do you say?
I think that since with the failure of 3D TVs, right? That was totally out the window as a gimmick. 4Ks, they're really pushing for this to be the standard, right? So the TV industry, everybody's trying to update their output to 4K, right? Except the consoles. Besides gaming, besides computer gaming or console gaming or whatever, you have to look at the TV industry is doing and what the streaming industry is doing. Netflix is trying to update all their stuff to output at Ultra HD. That's what they call it. That's 4K output. Hulu's, everybody's doing that. There's a concerted effort to make that the standard. And for you to enjoy that stuff, then you need a 4K TV. So the industry is pushing everyone in that direction.
Yeah.
So I think that's what's going to drive it, right? It's the offering of media. It's not just what we look at as gamers. Like, I don't need this TV, right? But if I want to continue enjoying Netflix or whatever, or even just regular TV, right? I'm going to need to upgrade, right? And that's what people are going to see, and that's what they're pushing for.
All right, Brian, get in here.
I hope it's not, because it means that games won't be as good. Because if this generation is anything to go by, we won't really get the upgrade in games that we deserve. We're just gonna get like shinier graphics at that high resolution. So we'll still get the same games that are like limited in scope, limited in everything, just looking better slightly, and that's it. And to me, I don't think the trade-off is worth it. So I really hope that it's not the standard, but I'll see how things play out, because it seems that it all depends on whether or not there's enough content to support that resolution. So it
Brian, can I
depends
ask you a question?
Yep.
As knowing the most about PC gaming from pretty much all of us, like it seems to me that 4D graphics would result in ultra super high resolution textures, but that's not going to like make clothing flow more dynamically. It's not going to simulate muscle under skin in a realistic fashion. So we just end up with shinier marionettes that don't actually look better or look more representational of real life. They just look shinier. So wouldn't there come a certain point when no matter what fucking resolution you have, unless you have the graphics or the processing power to render, you know, these real-time kind of movable skeletons, that it doesn't matter?
No.
No? Okay.
No. And that's one thing that's like really just annoying me about this generation, is that you had a bunch of developers complaining that, oh, we need more power, and then now they have the extra power. They're still delivering the same games that they've been delivering like last generation. It's like AI hasn't improved, you know, like animations haven't improved. Nothing that like I care about in a game has actually improved. It's still basically the same game, just shinier. And that's just getting on my nerves. It's like you have all this extra power, like do something with it. Like give me some advanced AI. Like AI hasn't really like gotten much better since Fear. And Fear came out in 2000, like in the 2006, 2007. Like it's been over almost 10 years since Fear, and yet AI has not improved since then in games. Like that's a problem.
I also think it's funny because when there's things that kind of appeal to general audiences, and when you start talking about like AI, you can totally see people's like eyes glaze over. The thing that they can understand in general is, oh, hey, look, we have more graphical power, fidelity, stuff like that. Like, hey, look, things look prettier, but that's about it. I mean, it's been a long time since I've heard any studio say anything about the AI that they program in their games anymore, right?
Oh yeah, it's been a long time. But yet you hear about all the guys talk about, oh, we have most realistic catch models, and this looks real, and look how real this looks. Like, yeah, that's all well and good, but like, give me actually something that is interesting. Like, okay, it looks real, well done. Like, what have you done with the gameplay? Like, what have you done with the level design? Like, does the level design like change? Like, that's one of the reasons why I loved God of War 3. It's like you had like battles on top of Titans like as they move. Like that was really good use of the power back then. But yeah, since then they haven't really done anything like that. You know, it's all just been like, hey, welcome to this arena, kill the bad guys, go on to the next one. And that's pretty much 90% of all games.
Is that part of the reason why you don't like Last of Us?
That is one of the reasons.
Because because in general, the AI to Last of Us is everybody, even the people with guns are dumb as posts.
Yep.
Like they literally they're almost as stupid as the necromorphs or whatever the fuck they were fighting in that.
Yeah.
It is one of the reasons, but there are other more prominent reasons why I don't like it, particularly being the story.
Right, well, that's another story for another day. All right, moving on here. Let's see where we are. Again, a little scatter shot here. But Fern Gully. People are starting to buy 4K TVs, and all these consoles are barely hitting 1080p, like Quantum Break. 4K compatible gaming PCs at 30 or 60 frames are well over $1,000. If Sony releases this PS4K, what do you think the price will be?
Sony and Microsoft have dropped their prices since they launched, right? No, right?
Both of them, yeah, both of them.
I suspect that the 4K versions of both of those consoles will be launch price again.
The original prices, right?
The original prices that we were talking about.
I agree.
I agree. I completely. Yep. $400. Yep, I agree with that.
I think you're in for a rude awakening though when you get your PS4K.
Quote unquote.
Yeah, because here's the thing: like, it's not going to have like monster processing power in it, where it can render the same games that you normally. It can't render your Call of Duty at 4K. It's not going to be able to do that. It's going to have the output of 4K, and then it's going to leave the responsibility of finding a way to make that happen with the limited resources to the developers. So you'll see indie games made in glorious 4K, but you're not going to see every God of War or Assassin's Creed or Call of Duty suddenly being upgraded into 4K and playing, just the same game as your buddies with better graphics. That is not what is happening here.
Yeah, I mean, remember, the whole reason they're doing this is so, to make the console a little bit more powerful to accommodate VR gaming, That's what's pretty much going on here. So, but it's not going to be like a next-gen leap or anything like that, PS4 5, what is it, PS4.5, PS4K, it's like that, Not going to be anything crazy, And then, this is a question Corey was asking us too. How much are you willing to pay for this?
None, since I just bought a goddamn new PlayStation.
Yeah. I'm not really keen on buying another iteration, So with the prices, I don't care what the price. I'm not buying another one,
I feel like this is more.
If I'm going to do that, I may as well just buy another graphics card for my PC, right, Brian?
Yep, if you want.
Yeah, may as well.
It's your choice.
Yeah, if we're gonna go down that road, if we're gonna go make consoles into PCs, let's go crazy. I'll just buy another graphics card and that's it. It's fucking stupid. The reason I buy a console is because I buy it and it stays with me for a good 5 to 7 years, right? Not I get to switch it out every 2 years now. Come on now.
You know what's ironic is that everybody is so open to the idea of like a PlayStation that's pretty much like a PC, or an Xbox that's pretty much like a PC. Like, you could slide a card in and out of it. It'll have PC components, practically a PC right now. But for some fucking reason, the Steam box is not getting any momentum behind it.
That's a good point. All right.
There was I think I forgot the name of the company, but they created these essentially like beast boxes that you can essentially attach to your laptop to make it run like video games at the highest specs. I forgot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I forgot what company is doing that. It's this. They make.
I think there's multiple companies doing it now. They're just external. It's like an external video card.
Yeah, it's like it's like an external video card unit, like processor combo thing. Mm-hmm. And you can literally just attach it to your laptop so that it runs, everything at like high resolution and stuff like that. Because currently, most laptops have I'm sure laptops can run games pretty well, but you got to have a desktop in order to do that.
Was Razer doing it?
Yeah, it's Razer. They're doing it.
Man.
All right.
What if you guys had that? Essentially, it's the PlayStation 4.5, and it's a separate box that you attach to your fucking PlayStation or Xbox.
Oh, man.
That's what I want. Bring back the hideous amalgamation that was Sega back in the day. I am perfectly fine with that. I will add like a little headset to it, and I'll add shoulder pads. I'll build it into a fucking Megatron, man. It'll be amazing.
Chris, didn't you call it the Sega Life Support?
No. Well, first when I was younger, I called it the Tower of Power. But
Tower of Power.
after I had to figure out how to fit 3 ginormous adapters onto one surge protector, yeah, it was like this thing was in life support, man. Hooking up wires all over the place.
It did soak up so much power.
Yeah, 3 bricks, like, man, dude, I was gonna cause a fire in my mom's house, like trying to run that thing. When I finally got 32X on there.
All right. Next question.
I don't answer.
All right, go ahead.
Price point, maybe around 600 because 4K gaming is expensive to do.
Holy crap!
And
Yeah, no one's gonna buy that shit.
they bought PS3s at that point.
Some idiots did, not everybody, you know.
Don't you know that you have to go get a second job in order for the PlayStation 4.5 or the Xbox 2?
I was about to say that. Is why gonna have to come out now?
Manny, you can't bring up Sony's past transgressions. We love Sony. We hate Microsoft. Remember?
Yeah, the bias, right?
wait, what was it? Was it like? Was that Kazurai with the 3?
Yeah. All right, go ahead, Brian. Finish up.
And would I buy it? No way. There's other things more important to me than like a better PS4. To be fair.
Like another graphics card.
Well, not that.
Upgrade, man.
Well, the first thing that I want to do is upgrade my CPU, since that's been like just hanging on for like the last couple of years. Because when I first bought my PC, it was all like mid-range parts from the year before, because I wanted to keep the price down. And then the plan was I'd upgrade within like 2 or 3 years, and that was 2 or 3 years ago. So now is the time I should be upgrading, like in my path. And then of course some VR headsets, because I will buy VR for PC, not console, because I just don't think that console VR is worth it for me at this point. And to clarify, I don't need to upgrade my CPU for the VR. I just want to, because that was my upgrade path when I was buying my parts back then. So yeah, and then maybe I'll think about it. But then at that point, I don't know, might buy a car or something.
There you go.
I don't know. Things might happen.
Important things, you know,
important
like
things,
cars.
Whether you get another PlayStation, you know. All right.
Like paying your
I
taxes.
push my PlayStation like as it is these days. So, and then I say that as I'm playing Warframe with my PS4 controller.
Yes. Warframe.
Did you install that crazy funky driver thing that they made for it, or is it actually working for it?
Which driver do you have? Because I have this one called DS4.
Yeah, DS4.
Yeah, it's the one that essentially creates an alternate port, like a ghost port inside of your system, and it kind of emulates the, it reorganizes the button work on the controller.
Yeah, I have that one. Yeah, it was pretty okay to get working, but I'm still not too happy about it.
Yeah.
It would be nice if they just released the damn drivers for it, so I just have the PS4 buttons on instead of the Xbox buttons. That really does annoy me so much.
All right.
Get on that, Sony.
Yeah. All right, Miss Ferngully, again. Okay, this is a fun one. In a recent survey Microsoft did for reselling digital games, they posed the question if respondents would feel okay reselling a digital game they own for 10% of the asking price. So if you have a $60 game, you get $6 in return. What are your thoughts on this, and does this lighten your negative views of GameStop? Yeah, I mean, this was something, I don't know why the hell we didn't talk about this. By the way, it's my fault. So, yeah, basically, Michael Pachter came out and said Microsoft is playing with fire if they do shit like this, because they would seriously be undercutting GameStop, if they do something like that. And then Aaron Greenberg had to do damage control saying, no, we're just asking a question. We're not considering doing anything like this. Me personally, I would actually like that because, dude, like, I bought fucking, what'd I buy? The Jonathan Blow game, right? I didn't like that game, right? Like, even if I could only get like 10% back, it's better than nothing. I can't sell the shit back or nothing because it's a fucking digital game, you know. And then I bought Firewatch. That's another one I wish I'd get my money back for, you know. So yeah, I'm down for it, but that's 10%. You guys are kind of cheap if that's the case, man. Like, you got to give us a little bit more than that. As a matter of fact, my editor, he wrote this. He basically said it should be tiered, right? Like, if the game is brand new, you get 50% back, and then as it ages, it keeps dropping down. You know, so
kind of like what GameStop does.
Kind of, yeah. So I would be for that, but I personally think digital resales are just a matter of time. I don't know when. Don't ask me when. I don't know when. It's just a matter of time before it happens, because now that we're really getting into the digital space, more and more games are selling digitally. It's going to have to happen. But when that happens, things are going to get very interesting with GameStop. How are they going to respond to this? Because that's their bread and butter right there. You know, resales.
Haven't you heard that GameStop sells toys now?
Yeah, well, you know, they're struggling, man. You know, go ahead, Chris.
Let me ask you. If you're allowed to resell your games, that means that you would have to legally own them, wouldn't you?
And I'm glad you asked that, because legally you don't own them when you buy them digitally, DRM and all that shit, right? So yeah, you're right. It's a great question. You know, so how do you circumvent that? How do you make you actually own the game yourself, the digital game? Chris, go ahead.
And really, if you think of it, it's not really selling anything back, because it's just getting it's pretty much asking for a refund.
You're relinquishing your access. That's what you're really doing.
Yeah, you're relinquishing access to this your access to this game, but you're not reselling it, because it's not. You know,
there's nothing to resell.
There's nothing to resell.
Yeah, Chris, I think that's true, and I think the 10% price is the 10% guaranteed price is just to dissuade you from doing so. It's like you're only getting $6 back for a $60 game, especially if you bought it like the day before. You're like, wow, this is crap, and then you could only get $6 back for it. You'd be pissed. You probably would be like, fuck it, I'll just keep it for the hell of it, because shit, I'm not getting much money back. But I think anything that puts GameStop in the fucking ground is okay with me. I think that they have outstayed their welcome, and they are just a glorified pawn shop with horrible, horrible practices, and they should go.
Which, by the way, they do have to get a pawn. Every single GameStop has to have a pawn shop license, because that's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, that's what they are.
So
I don't. Chris, can you explain to me this fervent hatred towards GameStop that a lot of people have?
I'd have to go back to like every pre-order I've ever had of a major game, including all the Metal Gears, by the way, in which I have been completely screwed out of an art book or something I was supposed to get with the game. Like documents of Metal Gear Solid 2 or whatever, that I just, like, GameStop has just completely ripped off people since time immemorial. They steal stuff, they resell stuff at retail price, stuff that they have opened and resealed.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's been documented many times. That is illegal.
So your beef isn't necessarily with shops like GameStop, but with GameStop
GameStop itself, yes, the company that is GameStop. That is where my problem is. I don't have a problem with Fry's Electronics or Best Buy I don't have a problem with them. They don't do shit like this.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not that we're against video game shops. Obviously, it's just GameStop itself that's the fucking
To be honest, I would I remember when we had the video game store in near us in Queens.
Yeah, man, that was great.
When we had GameStop, and then we had Electronic Boutique not far from it. We always went to that guy's video game store, because we knew the guy. He always gave us a decent price, stuff like that.
Yo, my man was really grateful when we came in there, man.
Yeah.
See, like that's completely like there were 3 game shops here in town: EB Games, GameStop, and GameCo. I worked for GameCo. I can tell you clearly clearly that they are head and shoulders a worse company than GameStop.
Well, this was a mom and pop shop we're talking about. We're not talking about
We're talking about
two. You're talking about GameCo was the
GameCo was the local mom and pop shop, and they would stop halfway through when you came back selling a stack of games and give you a number, and then wait for you to accept the number, and if you didn't accept the number, then they'd finish counting your games. If you did accept the number, they'd take your whole stack of games, including the half that you hadn't actually sold to them yet. They constantly resealed stuff. They constantly lied to their consumers. I almost got fired there once for actually helping a customer. Horrible, horrible place. And EB Games was always just a trash pit around here. They sold everything about 20% higher than GameStop. They gave you at least 20% less. And the people who worked there were always the most like flagrant, didn't care, mall rat asshole that you like. They were just about as bad as the Hot Topic employees, and those were just a fucking cancer on the rest of the mall.
Yeah, but that's not indicative of all of them, because we had EB2 and those guys were awesome. They were better than those GameStop guys.
Yeah, what was it? Software, etc.
Yeah, Software, etc.
I used to go to Babbage's for my
games. Software, etc. They only the one here that all they ever sold was Dragon Ball Z VHSs for $25 a pop.
Wow.
Whoa.
They could take a long walk off a short pier for all I fucking care.
Well, Software, etc. eventually became bought EB Games and became GameStop.
Yeah, and
they also bought FuncoLand. Let's
I used to love FuncoLand.
FuncoLand was awesome. Yeah.
FuncoLand was the good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. All right, I was about to get into super nostalgia right now, but let's move on here. Roman Ronin, Mr. Tony Rogers. I was looking at console skins on Amazon, and a thought popped into my head. Gamers are able to customize their consoles and controllers to reflect their aesthetic taste. PC gamers can take it to another step and augment the actual hardware in the machine. So my question deals with a video game accessory. If you were able to customize a Lightgun's outer appearance, what would you make it look like? My immediate thoughts were to recreate either Judge Dredd's Lawgiver or a Dominator from Psycho Pass. He's talking about light guns. We don't have those anymore, really.
Yeah. I would make mine look like Deckard's pistol from Blade Runner.
That'd be fun.
Malcolm Reynolds' pistol from Firefly.
I'd make mine look like the Auto 9 from RoboCop.
Yes. That's my answer too, actually.
Also, can I just take this point to say that Rachel and I just reskinned both of our PS3 or PS4s in matching Ryoko and Setsuki skins from Kill la Kill.
Oh, nice.
They look amazing.
So are these the ones that you stick on, like decals? Did you kind of stick on?
Yeah, it's like a vinyl decal. It comes in like 8 pieces. You can pretty much pick any picture you want. So we found 2 like really nice kind of watercolor pictures of. They're not even part of a set. I just found one that was like all Sumi paint and red ink of Ryoko, and then Rachel found one that was like kind of done in washed out whites and blues of Setsuki, and we just fit them into the website. $20, boom, came to our house. They're super high quality. They went on awesomely, and they look great.
I get bugged by putting like stickers and stuff on consoles. It's just a thing. It probably comes from the Nintendo Power days when they used to give you these little decals you used to stick on there, and they never went on right, or I'm sure it's a lot different.
Decals with minimal adhesive on the back, so they're closer to like the vinyl decals you put up in your windows. Like they're meant to be pulled off and possibly relayed several times. They're high enough quality they feel like a thick plastic. There's no paper involved.
Yeah.
All right, so that's a fun question. Brian.
Brian,
you said RoboCop 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, RoboCop.
I was just gonna say. Also, the thing is, like, as far as the decals, I wish in the States, Sony was cooler about releasing all of their hard drive covers. There are so many cool hard drive covers that are in Japan, like for all these awesome games, right? And we don't get to see any of them. And they put out that stupid hard drive cover program, and all they did was just print the fucking licensing art on there, rather than doing something cool like they do in Japan, where like they do like a cool, like, they work with the design of it and it, of the cover of the actual shine of it. I don't know, man. It just
All right. Last question from Roman Ronin. Along the same lines of thinking from question 1, how would you alter / expand the appearance of your future VR headset? Ace Combat 7 supports VR, so hey, a cockpit helmet design would add to my immersion. Cool question. I like that one.
VR helmet, huh?
Yeah, VR helmet. So what would you make it look like?
I'm not going to buy a VR helmet, but...
Okay, I understand the question, but I think it's a bit funny considering that you'll be wearing the VR helmet.
Yeah, you.
So I don't see the point of like customizing the outside since.
You know what that reminds me of? This joke from Cat Williams, like, why are you gonna get these, crazy ass rims for your car? You can't even see the rims while you're in your car. You have to stop at a bus stop so people can validate your rims for you. You know.
Are we talking simply aesthetic customization?
Aesthetic, more aesthetics.
Yeah.
Because I could see myself building myself a sweet Tron helmet kind of thing, where like you pick out your visor, you pick out your headset, you pick out your straps, you custom fit like memory foam cushions or something in the top, and then you do like a sweet like skull decal like fucking half sculpture thing on the outside to bind it all together. And so basically, you just like for the same reason that people do custom cases for their computer, to just house all of your components and do so in style, so that you don't have to put on a headset and then the visor and then all this other stuff. You just pick it up, put it in, and everything comes out of a convenient jack that's plugged into the back of the skull.
Yeah, I'm thinking about.
Go ahead.
No, I was thinking about the VR, not the VR, but the helmet. What's her face had from Ghost in the Shell in the beginning of the first movie? Like, she had a really cool looking helmet on and stuff. That, or the obvious answer, the one from Sword Art Online. Make it look like that.
That wasn't that special, was it?
Yeah, but it looked cool.
No, but even just like custom fitting like a black motorcycle helmet. So like you put a microphone in the cushioning down by the chin, and you cut the headphones into recesses in the padding on the outside, and then you set the visor for a very specific way so that it changes where it weighs on your head, so it's just more comfortable in general. And then that all plugs into an access box in the back that has one cord running out of it instead of 14 fucking braided cords. So it would just be like, you see somebody's Oculus and you're like, that's cool, and then you see somebody like pull out this like sweet black motorcycle helmet and be like, yeah, this is my Oculus, my headset, fucking processor, I got a tiny little fan in here, I got a microphone, and everything connects to the back. It's auto-leveled sound. It's a quiet environment that's noise canceling and picks up my audio really well. At that point, you may fucking use that sweet-ass like VR helmet for everything from recording to watching TV, just because it's a convenient all-in-one step then. Like, it's the same reason as it becomes more and more components that you don't have 4 parts to your PC laying on your desk. You put it all in a case.
Yeah, by the way, I have a different answer now. I want to make mine look like Wolverine's helmet from Weapon X.
Yeah! You mean the salad bowl?
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
with
the red visor.
With the red visor, I want that.
I want to see you podcasting that thing.
Dude, that'd be awesome.
Dude, how about just like a sweet Terminator skull?
That'd be pretty crazy. Yeah, the Wolverine one, and the Wolverine one leads us to the the good segue, because now nothing but comic book questions. You guys, I guess because the Daredevil and Batman, it's just nothing but comic book questions at this point. Comics. All right, so let's get into it. And then I'm gonna repeat a couple of names here because some of you guys were asking video game questions along with comic book questions. So Deal, are there any past comic series on your backlog? I'm finally getting around to Supreme Power, and I'm really enjoying it. Supreme, that's old school. That's Image Comics right there. So good on you. I know Alan Moore redid the series and stuff, make it a really cool allegory for Superman and stuff. But yeah, I got a ton. Like Valiant, I still got a ton of Valiant books to read, man. So that's my main one right there. You guys already know me in Marvel Comics. I'm kind of done with them. It's like, meh. And now DC, I had some shit from DC in my backlog, but hey, guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna reboot their universe. So I'm like,
I saw that Rebirth shit. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Again?
So here's the best part. I need to sneak this in here. They're gonna reveal the Joker's identity, right? In May. My prediction is when June comes around, they're gonna reboot that shit. So
we already know who the. I thought we already knew who the Joker was.
No, the Joker's identity is still a mystery, dude. No one knows.
He wasn't the Red Hood?
The Joker is Batman from an alternate universe. Just to fuck
you. Dun dun.
Yeah, they can do whatever they want.
I want it to be Alfred somehow.
Tony, school me here a little bit. Isn't Joker the Red Hood, who was a small-time magician criminal that Batman kicked into a vat of chemicals?
That came from the Joker himself. We don't know if that's true.
Oh, okay. So we've just basically undermined that by Joker lying over and over again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because that used to be pretty much canon, and that is severely dated information, but that used to be pretty much canon.
For a little bit, when the Killing Joke came out, that was kind of sort of canon.
There was a scene in Batman the Animated Series that showed the origins of
and
Joker.
they got that from the Killing Joke, dude.
Yeah, but that's still regarded as canon at that point.
Not
if it made the animated series, it wasn't a flashback, it wasn't from anybody's point of view, it was from an outside third-party point of view that watched it happen. There's no misremembering from the narrator.
But you're talking about the cartoon. You can't count the cartoon as canon.
No. But my point is that it was considered unofficially canon enough for a long time.
I wouldn't see, because the thing is, even at the end of that story, people were like, "Did Batman kill Joker or not?" Like, that was up in the air. That whole story was never even canon when it came out. You know, just to be fair.
I guess maybe I just took it that way.
Yeah. But anyway, yes, Brett, do you have any comics in your backlog?
Yes, I do, actually, and this relates to a discussion that you and I were having, Tony. Like, I never got around to reading Civil War, and I've just recently figured out why, with Tony's help. Apparently, and this is just a funny side note, apparently I had been reading Silver Age comic books for the entirety of my youth until I got to, like, the early 90s, and then I just went ahead and jumped into the current stuff. And I hadn't been realizing that I was reading, like, Silver Age comic books until about 2 weeks ago. When I was talking to Tony, I was like, "Yeah, man, back when Superman wore a spacesuit," and Tony's like, "The fuck are you talking about?"
Yeah, because this goes back to Brett. On air was complaining about Daredevil. This TV series being dark, and I'm like, he's been dark for 30 years, and you're like, "No, I remember Daredevil. He's happy-go-lucky, swinging around the city." I'm like, yeah, in the 60s, and that's the shit Brett was reading. His dad's comics.
Yeah, so I was reading my dad's comics until I hit like 10, and then I could start making money and affording to buy my own. So I apparently didn't realize the time jump I had that just completely hopped over Civil War.
So that means you've never read any Frank Miller stuff?
I went back and I've read bits and pieces of Frank Miller, but I've never been able to that's one of the things that's always bothered me as a comic artist is I don't understand where in the time spectrum Frank Miller shit comes in.
Well, I could school you on that. Frank Miller, early 80s, he became big when he did Daredevil. He revitalized Daredevil and made comics really gritty. Comics were not gritty before Daredevil, right? Before the fucking act in the 50s. Then Frank Miller did The Dark Knight Returns, right? That made him really big too. David Mazzucchelli, he teamed up with David Mazzucchelli to do the Year One, Batman Year One. Then after that, he did Sin City. 300 was around there somewhere.
Oh, you missed.
See, that's what it is.
You also missed Man Without Fear, by the way.
I went
back. That's right. Yeah.
Of Daredevil.
I went back and read Frank Miller's shit when he got big the second time, and was under the impression that was the stuff that he had just kind of put that was his recent stuff. So apparently his first whole go round, I just assumed Frank Miller was like mid to late 90s.
No, he was early 80s. Yeah, he started in the late 70s, but he became huge in the early 80s. Think about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The ninja part was the whole book was a parody of comic books at that point. The ninja part came from fucking Daredevil and the ninja stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but no.
In fact, their origin is. In fact, their silly origin is.
They fight the foot.
But their silly origin, it actually connects to Daredevil. Like the in the original story of Daredevil. In the original story of Daredevil, what happens? The friggin' truck crashes, and a bunch of chemicals go flying into his face. Well, anyway, also the chemicals flew into the sewer.
Yeah.
And caused them to become mutants. Unofficially.
So an interesting side note of this is comic book linear chronology has always kind of fucking eluded me because it's always back and forth and it doesn't make much sense. To a certain extent, it would do me great to just, if I had all the time in the world, to go back and read everything again in chronological order because my youth, the foundation, a lot of my comic book knowledge is so fucking out of order. The facts are there, but I'm really bad at knowing what comes after this other thing.
All right, but as far as Civil War goes, you weren't a kid. You're 6 years younger than me, right? You're 30, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Civil War came out when I was 26. So you were 20 when Civil War was out.
What was the thing that I missed? What was the big event that I missed in the early 80s then?
In the early, Crisis on Infinite Earths. In the
Crisis,
mid,
that was it.
Crisis on
Was it.
Infinite Earths. Yeah, you were not born yet, I think.
Yeah. No. There was stuff I missed earlier, and there was stuff I missed when I was just my big punk rock fan.
Wait,
I was
but
breaking
Tony,
stuff.
you didn't even read Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Not when it came out. I read it like 5 years after it came out. But Brent didn't read it at all.
My big jam, the thing that I was on board for at the time was right about the time of Infinity Wars. That's when I was like wading through the thick of it.
Yeah, the early 90s. Yeah, early 90s. Yeah. But anyway,
that was my jam time.
Yeah, so that's your backlog, all that 80s shit.
It's not even that. Like I'd need to find the ones that staple in the chronology for me and read those like in an actual order. I don't need to go back and read anything. Just the high points in order. And it's the same reason. Like every time I go to watch a DC animated movie, like I'm always kind of confused as to what order I'm supposed to fucking watch these movies in. And comic books have kind of by proxy hit that same point for me. Like I don't know. Even Deadpool. Like I don't know. Like when Deadpool teams up with who in what order. Like I don't know exactly when it is did he hang out with Colossus first or did he hang out with Cable first? I have no fucking clue.
It's Cable. It's probably Cable.
Yeah. Anyway, Manny, backlog.
Backlog. I mean, just a couple of books that I have to get to. I have to get to reading Chrononauts. I have a couple of things that I have sitting out waiting for me to read. Not too much. I mean, again, I don't. It's kind of weird, but I don't read very many comic books because I'm mostly spending my time making comic books.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, I just gave you the short list for me. I still got to catch up on Walking Dead, right? Invincible, I want to catch up on. And those are the main ones. Basically, Valiant, Invincible, and fucking Walking Dead. That's the main stuff. Because some other stuff. And speaking about Marvel, I do want to catch up on Daredevil, but I'm gonna wait for the first trade paperback. Because I hear the new stuff but it's Daredevil. He's always good. That's the one character Marvel doesn't seem to fuck up.
Well, because Daredevil at least up till now has been a popular character, but has been a character that is on the point where they can fuck around with them and still make a decent story.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
because they don't need to deal with friggin' movie chronology and all that other bullshit that's going on right now.
Yeah, Daredevil is popular enough where the company's gonna always give him love and stuff, all support, but at the same time, he's not popular enough where they're like, okay, do what you want. They don't care. Chris, backlog.
I was gonna say Invincible as well. I haven't caught up with Invincible at all, and I gotta read it. I fell off of Walking Dead, but you know what? I'm so far behind. Shit, I don't even know. Like I should. So, like I'm back in the prison, man. So I'm way fucking behind on Walking Dead. But Invincible, I was like, I remember I got the 50th anniversary issue. I'd read Invincible up to 50, and I am way behind.
Oh man, yeah.
I'm reading the IDW Star Trek books, and that they've gone on. Like they're way past Into Darkness. They're in the stories. I think they're on the 12th volume already. I'm only at volume 4, so I got to catch up on those as well.
Nice. Brian, do you even read comics? I don't think you do, right?
Nope, I don't.
Okay.
I literally just choose whatever I feel like, to be fair.
Okay.
Like, I find a character I like, I read the stuff, and that's about it.
All right. Next up here, Goridi. Between Marvel and DC, who is the worst superhero ever? He goes, this may have been asked. No one ever asked this. He picked Arm Fall Off Boy. Basically, a superhero that takes his arms off and beats people with them. That's a superhero.
From whom?
From
that was
DC.
A Marvel guy.
I think he's a DC guy. I'll look it up. But yeah, my take, the first one that came into my mind was motherfucking Fool Killer. Remember this guy?
Yes.
So Fool Killer, for you guys who don't know, basically he ran around killing quote-unquote fools, right? And then the series ended when he
was canceled.
Yeah, it was canceled, but it ended with when he realized he was a fool for killing fools, and he attempted suicide, and they put him in a psychiatric hospital.
So that's the end of Fool Killer.
Yeah, that's a stupid, hero, Oh yeah, yeah. Because basically this happened. Basically, he decided Spider-Man was a fool, right? So he went to go kill Spider-Man. Then somebody tells him, "Dude, you're a fool for trying to kill Spider-Man." He's like, "Damn, I am a fool. I need to kill myself now. I am not making this up." All right, Manny, stupid hero from Marvel and DC.
Death Racer from DC. He's a character. He's a villain that has rocket-powered skis.
Yes.
Oh my god.
And honorable mention is Stiltman.
Yes. Oh man,
Oh,
man. We can rattle off a few Daredevil villains, to be honest, man.
Yes.
Jeez. All right, Chris, go ahead.
There was that guy in DC. I think. Oh, Matter Eater Lad.
Matter Eater Lad.
He was so fucking lame. Like a guy who can eat anything.
Yes.
What the fuck? What could you possibly do? Like, it's
He was
like,
that big fat piece of shit, right?
yeah. And he could eat anything. Like steel. Like, I'll eat this bomb. Like, oh, good for you.
Oh man.
I remember that I heard that there's this character whose superpower was like he blow himself up, but he'll only do it like one time and then he'll die. So essentially, like he lived like a long life, had kids and all sorts, and then he blew himself up because he hated his coworker or something like that.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that's a bit of a weird thing.
And then we didn't bring up the elephant in the room, Doug Ramsey. He literally just translates shit. That's all he does. He can speak any language, as stupid as X-Man. You know?
Hey, listen, you have to give some sort of reason why they can speak with the Shi'ar army.
Yeah.
Just call Doug up, be like, "Sup, Doug? What's this guy saying? He says fuck you."
And then there was that one X-Man, I forgot his name, but he looked like a horribly disfigured bird, right? He had no superpowers. He couldn't fly. He couldn't do anything. He just looked fucked up. He was a mutant, you know, like an actual mutant. He was just ugh.
Also, couldn't translation be done by any psionic who can read minds?
Basically.
Listen, there's so many other people in the X-Men universe that could totally invent something that translates language. Fucking Forge.
Forge, yeah.
He could have easily done it. I'm sure Beast would have did it because apparently when you're smart with science, you know all sciences.
Yes. That's how Marvel works, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, Donald Blake, you're a doctor, right? Build me a robot. Like, no,
He's
I'm
like,
a surgeon.
Hell yeah. I know science.
Oh, poor Doug Ramsey. Anyway, Brett, stupidest hero or villain from Marvel or DC?
Well, I hate Cypher. But I think everybody kind of hates Cypher.
Cypher's pretty stupid.
There's a slew of mutants like the fucking what's the name, Skin and the Frog one, but I think Squirrel Girl takes the cake for me. I get it. It's a commentary of like an anti-superhero, and she's supposed to have lame powers, and it's supposed to be a lame small view of a superhero. Like I get it, and I still think that it's stupid.
Yeah, hey man, she beat up Galactus though.
Yeah, she beat up Thanos as well.
Yep. Oh man. Right.
There are so many like characters that are just so silly.
Yeah.
It's. I mean, but I think it just, especially a lot of them, they come from the time when Stan Lee's just like, okay, we need to do a new villain. How about a man who has stilts for legs?
Yeah.
How about a guy who's called the Ringmaster and he can control people's mind?
Oh man, remember those guys, Manny? Your favorite guys, the three dudes, like I forgot. They were the thug guys. They were like gangsters and stuff.
Oh, the enforcers.
Yeah, the enforcer. Remember those
like,
guys?
It was Montana who had the ability. He could he was like a Western guy, and he can pretty much tie you off the ropes. There was fucking Fancy Dan, who knew martial arts. Dan. And then there was I forgot the name of the leader of the enforcers. What the hell was his name?
Well, no, there was a big I think that the lead. I forgot what the leader was, but I know there was a big guy too.
Yeah, there was. I can't remember that guy's name. Yeah. And there was a dude with a flat top.
Yeah, by the way, we're listing shit off the top of our heads. If we Google it, it gets really fucking bad.
Yeah.
Dazzler's in here. Yeah, Dazzler's kind of stupid.
Dazzler was a product of the 70s, disco and all that stuff. So that's what she
Jubilee was
was.
also stupid. Let's think. I don't know
Jubilee
why
was
it
pretty
caught
neat.
on or why people are suddenly like, yeah, cool. It's good to see Jubilee back in the X-Men. Like, why? Why is this good? Her power
Because she's
is
in a 90s
literally
TV show.
sparklers.
That's what it is. She was in the '90s TV show, and people.
And
liked
she was
her.
never. And the thing is that I always felt like there was some sort of final stage of her abilities. No, she just makes distracting fireworks.
Yeah, they don't even hurt.
She's like, boo.
That's just distracting fire. There's a lot of stupid characters out there. But anyway, let's move on here. Final stage boss again. The Guardians of the Galaxy director said a new member will join the team. Who do you think the new member will be?
It would be funny if it's the Sputnik dog.
That would be awesome if it was the.
Because he was a Guardian of the Galaxy at some
Yes,
point.
he was.
Howard the Duck.
Oh, that's my answer.
That would be. Hey, imagine him and fucking Rocket Raccoon, man.
It's like they're gonna have 3 cartoons and 3 real people.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with the easy answer. I want real Nova. That's what I want. Like, you already have the Nova Corps. You already established the Nova Corps. Let's get the actual Nova member in there.
Where's the
Walking
man
around and
called
shit.
Nova?
Yeah, exactly. The man called Nova. Bring him on.
What if it's
yeah.
what if it's Adam Warlock?
I was gonna say I was hoping it's not Adam Warlock.
Yeah, no, not yet. It's too early for bring him in.
I was thinking it might be Quasar.
Quasar? You think they might?
Well, she was on the Guardians after
Yeah.
the 2008 relaunch.
That's true.
It was the lady who was Quasar.
Yeah, Lady Quasar. Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess you could do that. That would be cool.
Or original Quasar?
The original Quasar. But I think Nova price. I don't see how it could not be him.
Yeah.
And I hope it's not Adam Warlock. Please don't.
No.
I'm Adam Warlock.
Yeah, don't do
early.
that character.
Yeah,
Oh,
too
God.
early for that. Don't bring him in yet. Brian, your answer was Howard the Duck.
Yep. Either that or the Hulk, since I've heard
Yeah.
that he's going out space.
he's just cruising. And now
He has to do something.
That would be pretty crazy if if it's him. All right, moving on here. Mike Madden, he goes, I just finished watching the second season of Daredevil. Do you think the Punisher is a bad guy? Very good question.
I mean, the show does bring up some very good, dichotomy with the character. Is he a bad guy? Is he not a bad guy? I don't know. I feel like he has his own form of justice.
Yeah.
Is he like Dolph Lundgren? Is he sitting in the sewer going, "What
My
is
God.
justice? What is punishment?"
What is punishment? Exactly. I just feel like I feel like he has his own sense of justice, and if he feels that you've done wrong, he'll come after you no matter what.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with saying yes, he is a good guy because he's not just killing indiscriminately. He's killing bad guys.
But he has been wrong.
Yeah, he has been wrong. Yeah,
I
but at
mean,
the
come
same
on, he
time,
went after
yeah.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the thing. It's like technically no, but technically yes. He is a bad guy too. He's murdering people. But yeah, I think his heart is in the right place. But like you said, he can be wrong. But then again, that's part of what makes the character interesting.
I don't know if his heart is in the right place.
Well, it is like he wants to keep criminals from killing good people.
It's like saying Max Payne's heart is in the right place. Like, yeah, I mean, kind of, but I think the whole point is that his heart is in the wrong place. Like he's doing the right thing for the wrong reason and the wrong way, and I think that's what makes his character complexity. But the fact that both of us see different things, I guess, is just a testament to the character.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But yeah, I always viewed it as like, oh no, you're doing this. You're killing people because you want to kill people, because you have a murderous red violent rage and you hate motherfuckers. You're just aiming it at the most appropriate people to channel this rage out on. You're like, well, if I'm gonna kill motherfuckers, may as well kill bad guys.
That's an interesting way of seeing it.
I don't think the Punisher can be normal.
Yeah,
He
after
was
reading.
normal until they killed his fucking family.
No,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah, he can't go back.
Wait, did you read Born? Who read Born here?
I did not read Born.
The
No, I
Bourne
didn't read
short miniseries about Punisher. Dude,
No, I know.
the Vietnam stuff, he was fucked up before his family died. Like, you should really read that miniseries to see how messed
I'm
up
gonna check
Frank
that out.
Castle was before he became a cop. Like, I would think the same thing if I hadn't read that miniseries.
Oh, okay, so I gotta check that out. Okay, add that to my backlog.
But the thing is, I also, we're also dealing with the, again with the series, or are they going with that? It's a little hard. On that
I
one.
guess we sticking to the series. Yeah, but it raises the same kind of questions. Like, dude, you're kind of murdering these dudes, and you kind of enjoying it.
Murder.
Right, Brian? Do you think he's a bad guy?
I don't watch the Daredevil show, so I don't
Right,
know.
do you know about Punisher?
Yeah, I know about him.
All right, so you could answer the question in that sense then.
But,
He just wants to play Warframe, Tony.
No, he can do
Do I-
both. He
Do I
does both.
think he's a bad
He's
guy?
multitasking.
Yeah.
Okay, it has to depend on what you classify as what bad guys do, because I don't think he's a bad guy. Like, he's just doing what he believes is right.
Yeah.
But then
I mean,
again,
that's what
you could say that's what bad guys, or like some bad guys can be classed under that, doing what they believe is right, but it's not actually what is right. So I guess you could say that he is a bad guy.
Yeah. Again, that's what makes him an interesting character because the answer is yes and no at the same time, and they're both valid answers.
The question becomes, does it matter? Is whether you're a bad or a good guy just determined by what side you're on?
Yeah.
Maybe
that's
so.
true. Yeah, because it's society that kind of determines what is moral or not. It's interesting. All right, next question, still about Daredevil. What do you want / expect from season 3?
For me, I haven't fully seen the series yet. I don't.
Oh, by the way, with Daredevil, we're trying to not spoil stuff either.
Yeah, I haven't fully seen the series yet, so I kind of don't know what to expect from season 3. I mean, so far they've hit a lot of the things from the comics, like Born Again, some bits from Born Again, some bits from Man Without Fear, some bits from some other things. So it's kind of like an amalgam of a lot of different, very great Daredevil and also now Punisher stories.
Yeah, I mean, for season 3, I want to. Here's the thing: I want to see Born Again, but I don't want to see it next season. I want to see it season 4. Really build that up.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that the only problem I can see with Born Again is they'd have to cut a lot of that Captain America, Iron Man shit that's in there.
They already had that guy in Jessica Jones. That new guy. He's in that. But yeah, I want that, but I want that for season 4. For season 3. I don't know. I'm gonna just wait and see what they give us. I know that's not an answer, but for season 4, I know what I want. I want Born Again, but for season 3, I don't want that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, they could have that bit with Kingpin's wife. Remember after he took down his whatever, and she ends up in that fucking sewer world with that weird.
Yeah, they can. Yeah, that's true.
That weird Morlock guy.
Who else has seen the series?
I haven't finished it.
Okay. Has anybody else finished it here? Chris, I'm looking at you.
No, I have not.
Okay. So,
it's too bad you didn't have that little, the little effect there, the little cricket effect there for a second.
Okay, I guess.
So, let me ask you guys, who would be good to team up with Daredevil, knowing the comic history that you guys do?
Here's the thing. It would be funny if they throw Black Widow in there. Remember, they were together for like 20 issues or more. They're not going to do that. As far as
she's in Born Again as well, isn't she?
Yeah, I think she is.
I mean, he's teamed up with Spider-Man, but
probably not going to do that.
I would also like if they did the Kevin Smith story that he wrote.
But that involves Mysterio.
But that is the greatest payoff.
Mysterio.
Or even the story, the story with Echo.
Ooh, man, you just gave me an idea, man. Imagine season 3 they do Echo.
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool, man.
Or there's the current the thing that happened maybe a few years back, where he was leader of essentially a ninja what was the name of the hand?
Dude, he was the leader of the hand.
He was the leader of the hand. Yeah.
Yeah. Here's actually okay. I'm extrapolating into the future now. Again, I'm not really sure what I want for season 3, but season 4, I want the Born Again, right, where Daredevil is taken down. Now he's stripped of everything. Then season 5, the Devil in Cell Block D, where he's in fucking jail. That would be so awesome. Yeah, I want that. That would be great. Teaming up, I don't know. Iron Fist, but he teams up with Luke Cage, so I don't know. But I hope he pops up in there.
Can we get Bullseye, or is that just ruined because of the movie?
No, they could do.
Bullseye. They can work him in. Yeah.
I mean, they work the Elektra in there really nice.
Well, yeah,
that's my answer.
Yeah, but I mean, Bullseye in the movie was kind of a travesty.
Yeah, so so was Elektra. Let's redeem Bullseye. That's my answer now. Switching to that. Season 3, I want Bullseye. A really good Bullseye. They fucking gave us a really good Punisher. They gave us a really good Elektra. It's time to bring Bullseye back.
You could easily do that with the Irish guys.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can.
Well, they haven't really had him face off against metahumans yet, have they? And Bullseye's kind of right on the cusp between, you can't tell. It's like Hawkeye, where like you're either like really just at the very tip top of possible without being a metahuman, or you're some kind of weird metahuman.
Wait, did they say Bullseye has powers?
No, he doesn't have powers. He's
a mutant.
Yeah, I thought he was a mutant.
Is he a mutant?
Yeah,
he is.
I think Manny's right. I swear they said that Bullseye is definitively a mutant. That's why he's so good at what he does. He's not like Hawkeye, where he's just good.
Didn't they also? Doesn't he also have an adamantium skeleton or some crazy bullshit too?
Yeah. I don't know how that works, but.
Well, I know he
weapon excellent.
got it.
I was giving that shit away like Halloween candy now.
Yeah, I know he got it after Daredevil broke his fucking back after dropping him off a building, And that was actually very controversial back in the day. It was like, oh my god, did a hero actually just do that? Daredevil was like, fuck it, I'm throwing you off this fucking roof. I don't care if you die, and he lived. Yes, Bullseye, he needs to be redeemed, so I want him for season 3 for sure.
And he's not going, oh, hey, Bullseye.
Bullseye. Whoa. So stupid. All right, Fern Gully here. He goes, Daredevil season 2 came out, and I'm fiending for season 3. The Luke Cage trailer looked good as fuck. Do you think Marvel's TV series are starting to catch up to DC's? Many consider DC the best at television between these two. They're getting there for sure. Jessica Jones was good. Daredevil's good. I like the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but DC still has the leg up, man. They still have the leg up.
On TV shows?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Continue giving examples, please.
Yeah, Flash, Arrow, Supergirl. Yeah, I'm not counting Gotham. Fuck Gotham. Those shows are really, really good. Really, really good. But the Flash alone kind of, it kind of holds its own against Marvel stuff on television.
No, I will agree. I will put Flash and Daredevil practically in the same caliber. But Arrow, really?
I like Arrow. Arrow's gotten really good this season. They're kind of, like you said, Brett. They line it up just for you, Brett.
Oh my God, no, I'm done. I'm fucking done with Arrow. I hate the travesty, abortion, steaming pile of train wreck that show is.
Damn.
Yeah, but yeah, Flash and then Supergirl's a lot. It's just as fun as Flash, and they're about to have their crossover episode. By the way, here's the funny thing: after I watched Batman and Superman, right, they had the trailer for Supergirl meets Flash, and I'm like, why can't DC movies be as fun as the TV show? That looked fun as shit, But I guess they.
I'm a little worried about Supergirl
versus
Chris, I know what you're gonna say because Supergirl is one of the highest rated shows. They haven't renewed it.
They haven't renewed it. They haven't renewed that or Limitless or a lot of their newer shows, like their evergreen shows. They renewed Big Bang Theory, NCIS, all that got renewed. They didn't mention Supergirl. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and the show's not like a travesty. Yet it's doing really, really well.
Yeah. Maybe it's not doing well enough for them to keep it around.
Yeah, I hate Hollywood.
No, you gotta hate network TV. That's TV. The thing.
Yeah, the fucking ancient people that run CBS should not be.
What is this?
man.
It's kind of a toss-up, but like they both have like Daredevil, really good. Flash, really good. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., garbage trash. Arrow, also garbage trash.
I wouldn't say, but Gotham is trash. That's pure super mega trash.
Super trash.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say they're catching up, but they're not.
I don't know, man.
Yet.
Let me ask you: are you a fan of the Green Arrow as a comic book character, Tony?
No, I couldn't stand him.
Okay, that's why you like Arrow.
Yeah, I couldn't stand him. That fucking
Oh my
liberal
God.
guy. Like, I can't stand that guy. You know.
The guy that was like fucking Robin Hood.
Yeah, and I don't like Robin Hood. I don't like Robin Hood.
He does not like Robin Hood.
Yeah.
Okay, but still, it's a character based on Robin Hood.
Yeah,
Like,
and I don't like Robin Hood. Think about that.
So make a show about another character.
No, dude, I'm with you on that one. Like, you know, again, the only reason I like him is because I don't like the guy in the comic books. But as a comic book fan, I totally understand why you don't like it. I completely understand. You know, I'm not gonna give you guff about it. I completely get it. They kind of betrayed the character, I guess, right? And we don't like that around here.
That's like your big. You know, that's like what we'll be talking about later about a certain character that's killing now.
And that's why I can't give Brett any shit, because if I was in his shoes, I'd be feeling the exact same way. You know, it's like, what the fuck? This isn't the guy I've been reading about. You know, basically, the Arrow on TV is fucking Batman. We've all said this. He's fucking. It's a Batman show. You know,
Like,
yeah, he has the same.
Even down to the nuts and bolts, like the Arrow or Green Arrow, whichever you want to be, it's supposed to be like an agile motherfucker, right? Like flipping through the air, shooting arrows. You leap from beam to beam like a 200 sack of potatoes. Like, could you not afford some CGI? Can you not like dive down from somewhere and shoot an arrow? Like, you are the lamest superhero ever. You can barely run and fire a bow, and you suck at everything that you do. Like, it's just like he lucks his way out of half. Like, I stopped watching last season because I was just like, he's just fumbling his way by being a stubborn jackass. He's not even being stoic. He's just a stubborn, idiotic jackass with too much money and fucking time on his hands. And he's lucky that he stumbled his way into a good support group, because it's the only reason he hasn't killed himself like 4 goddamn times by now. Like, the Flash is supposed to be like irreverent and kind of irresponsible, and he's 5 times the hero that fucking Arrow is, and they insist on putting him on the same pedestal for some goddamn reason too. Like, and it's you can even see it when the Flash gets a hold of the Arrow. Oh my God, he's such a better character. Then you have to go back to Arrow, who somehow manages to ruin the Flash. Like, I hate the Flash on the Arrow, and I like the Arrow a little bit more on the Flash. Like, I think I completely and intrinsically disagree with somebody who works on Arrow.
It's funny, man. All right, next question here by Jake Nichols, who's actually one of our new writers on the Coalition. He asked us, hey, we answered this on last panel to panel, too. What Marvel character would you like to get their own series on Netflix? Manny, what was your answer?
I have no idea.
I don't remember what I answered, but I'm gonna steal Charles's answer. Blade. I want Blade TV series, man.
I agree. Yo, man, give me some Blade. Call up Wesley. You look at him, he's like fucking Dorian Gray. He doesn't age a day.
He is a vampire, man.
I am really a daywalker.
Chris.
Some motherfuckers just like to swim upstream.
Oh, dude! I mean, you got Punisher in here now. Punisher, man.
Yeah, Punisher, man.
Hell yeah, man! That would be insane. You know,
me and my friend watched the 8th episode with some of the trial stuff.
Ooh.
That sold him on a Punisher show, by the way.
Yes.
He's like, I don't know. He's like, I don't know if I could deal with the Punisher for full thing. And he goes, I think I could go with a Punisher series after this one. Because when you guys see that stuff with Punisher, they really fucking fleshed out his character.
Yeah, that was great the way he did that, man. Fantastic. Brett, go ahead.
Well, aside from the obvious fanboy answer that I'm just gonna go ahead and pass up, I'd love to see Ghost Rider rebooted in a weekly series.
Well, that would be some hell of special effects there, but
I would.
that
would be. I would think that'd be
awesome.
super cool. Like, if
pretty awesome, yeah.
They did it with Firestorm. What, you have to CGI somebody's head on fire, and other than that, it's a bunch of trick shots and automobiles? Okay.
Yeah. Man, yeah, it could be really, and it could be. Here's the thing, because Marvel's all about doing different genres, right? Mm-hmm. There's your horror.
There's your horror show, man.
Yeah,
and you can work in all the horror characters like Werewolf by Night, which they have the rights to, and Man Thing.
And think think about the ebb and the general flow of Ghost Rider's storyline is heavily serialized. He's kind of tortured and stuck being, Hell's guardian on Earth. It would lend itself very well to a weekly series. I think better actually than it would a movie, because he doesn't have it's not like boom, Ghost Rider does his thing and saves the city. Ghost Rider is more persistent as a character, so I think it would lend itself well to a serialized show.
The only problem I would have, the slight thing I would have with it, I hope they wouldn't kind of water down the character by adding some sort of silly love interest to kind of muddy up things.
No, I think you would need Netflix to do it. Honestly, to do it right. I'm not sure network TV.
No, remember.
Proper respect.
We're talking Netflix.
Yeah, we are talking Netflix. We are talking Netflix specifically. So yeah, and here's the thing: bringing it back to your favorite show, Brett Arrow. This last episode had a really cool bike chase sequence, motorcycles. Dude, they could do it, man. They could totally do it. Just like the flaming skull. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, and the only thing they'd have to live down is the whole Nicolas Cage shit.
Yeah.
They just erase that shit. Well, that's the very nature. If you reboot it as a TV series, it distances itself from the stigma of trying to reboot it as a movie. So we're taking it in direction, we're going to make it gritty. And really, and I'm thinking in terms of actually being viable. If you look at the shows that are making, or the heroes that are making great shows, it's a little less, there's not a lot of flying around. They're lower budget heroes, and Ghost Rider, a minimal amount of CGI that we've already seen them surpass with the Flash, would be more than adequate. But you CGI some chains and a flaming skull in there, and then the rest of it is just pretty much live action trick shots.
All right, here's my question though: Johnny Blaze or Danny Ketch? Who do you want it to be?
That's a tough question. Johnny Blaze, probably Johnny Blaze.
Just because he's the original guy, right?
Yeah. You got to go OG with it, man. You got to start with the OG.
But you know they're not going to go with the OG bike.
No, they're going to go with Danny.
They're going to go with the flaming tires, because the original, Ghost Rider just rode a normal bike that made his head burn up.
Yeah, but I think I think you should go with a little bit more style, make the original motorcycle have a bit that makes it look a little bit kind of horseish, and then leave the fiery tires out, and leave that for some special event where he taps into more fucking hell power, and boom, his motorcycle tires burst into flames, and everything gets exponentially more awesome. You could save that, put it in your back pocket for a couple seasons.
Hey Manny, you didn't do the song, man.
You mean Ghost Rider motorcycle hero? Baby, he's looking so cute in his blue jumpsuit.
All right, Brian, who do you want to get a show on Netflix?
Jubilee.
Fuck you, Brian.
Hold on, I think Brian saw this movie. A really gritty, brutal Jubilee show.
My name is Jubilee, and I am darkness.
Turns out if she does that, and if she uses her power while actually touching somebody, she really fucks them up.
Yes.
No, I'm just thinking about you go through the whole troubles, trials and tribulations of having a really shitty power. You can just do that from the angle of my powers suck, I'm not as good as these guys, and then just play it off at that angle. It could be good, but move on to Rogue, because 90s Rogue.
Yes. That ass. I think about the apocalypse picture.
No, but I do think that a really good Rogue TV show could be pretty cool, because essentially you're through what's being Rogue character and all sorts, and plus you can pretty much have any the power to put in any Marvel character that you want at that point in time. It's she seeks help from Daredevil because legal reasons, or hey, she's best friend with Jessica Jones because they both can beat up people and stuff like that, and hey, Black Widow's chasing her because she's done something illegal because she accidentally killed some character, they really could weave in a lot of different characters in there.
You know what I'm imagining in my head right now? Like, imagine a dark room, right? And in the center of it, you see this Asian girl sitting in a chair, and she is fucked up looking, bleeding and shit. And the camera's just slowly coming in, right? Just like eerie music playing, and then it cuts to black. Jubilee coming 2017.
Or she's going. Na, 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 na.
It's like a fucked up version of that. All right. Next question here. It's Mr. Ferngully again. All right, people. Okay, here we go. From this point on, we're going to be talking about Batman versus Superman. We got a shit ton of questions. We already did a spoiler alert on it, but you guys are asking, so we're going to go at it again. So from this point on, if you have not seen the movie, cut the show off. You know that it's it. We're not going to say anything extra afterwards. From here on in, just Batman, Superman. After you see the movie, from this point on, Batman, Superman. Come back to it later, obviously. After you've seen the movie. So yes, again, spoiler alert. Batman versus Superman. Yeah. We're going in.
Turn away now. This is like you this is like your 30-second warning. So you've had your warning. Go. If you're still here, then it's your own fault.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You have been very warned.
Yeah. So that's plenty of time to get your phone out if you're working out, or if you're driving to podcast, or if you're doing something. Then yeah, plenty of time to go. Just turn off the podcast now and be good.
Exactly.
There we go. That should be enough time.
Keeping a little silent. All right, we're going in. Batman vs Superman. All right, Ferngully. Now that you've seen Batman vs Superman, where would you rank it among superhero movies?
Let me just say that I agree with the Rotten Tomatoes ratings of being lower than Daredevil.
Oh shit!
Oh wow!
Wow.
I have gone on record on saying on my Twitter that Batman Superman is the sucker punch of superhero films.
Oh shit!
I mean, Sucker Punch has some titties.
Yes, but here's the thing. That's not to say that Daredevil, Sucker Punch, or Batman Superman didn't have enjoyable moments. But let's just say me and my girlfriend were laughing. Got a lot of it.
Wow. I'm gonna say this, because I don't really give a fuck about doing lists. This is not even in my top 20. No way. It's not even in my top 20. Maybe in my top 25 in the lower end bracket, but I don't know the exact placement, but it's definitely not in my top 20 for sure. Because what do you have? You have like 12, 13 Marvel movies, right? They're all better than this. Then you add in the Sony Spider-Man movies, the first two, the X-Men movies, the fucking Deadpool. All this shit stacks up to 20 movies. This movie's not even in there,
Yeah,
Yes, I know, man. I know.
It just makes a lot of the film. Here's the thing. By the way, it's still I still rank the original Daredevil higher than this, but not by much. And also, Elektra is the bottom of the barrel. Oh no, excuse me. Elektra and Ghost Rider are the bottom of the barrel.
That's bottom of the barrel.
Yes,
Yeah. Okay, those movies are better, probably. I'll say that. Batman Superman is better than Elektra.
Yes.
Anything is better than Elektra. Howard the Duck is better than Elektra. That's how boring it was.
Elektra was so
Nothing happened in that movie. Man,
No.
shit.
For some odd reason, when you guys were talking about Elektra, I thought of Catwoman.
Oh, that's bottom of the barrel too. Batman v Superman is definitely better than Catwoman.
It's better than Catwoman.
But Catwoman isn't even ranked for me, so...
Oh, yeah.
Well, you've never seen Catwoman, so...
Oh, yeah.
Lucky man. Lucky
Man, you remember how I was telling you that Netflix and Hulu don't have superhero movies? Guess what's on there?
Catwoman?
Catwoman's on there.
Oh, now you have no choice.
Yeah, right.
Since you already went down that road with Ninja Turtles.
Ooh.
Remember, that's a superhero film, too.
Technically, it is a comic book hero, book thing. Anyway, Brian, go.
Yeah, I don't know how you could, but I'm trying to think of what films is it better than, and then I'll because instead of working my way down, I'll work my way up, if that makes sense. Just to make sure that I haven't messed anything up. And so like for the past like 10 minutes, I've just been going through. It's like, okay, it's better than Spider-Man 3. It's better than X-Men 3. I don't remember Blade 3 that much, to be fair. That's about
Blade 3 is
a
a
good.
pretty trash.
Blade 3 is a
Yeah.
pretty piece of crap.
I think it's better than X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Oh yeah, that existed.
That was a terrible movie.
Yeah.
Oh, that film existed. Thanks, Chris, for reminding me of
Or
that
the
film.
or the two other Batman films that were not made by Tim Burton.
By the way, I love how this thing switched to let's talk about movies that are worse than Batman versus Superman. And
It's very difficult to rank that movie. You have to kind of find first to find your level of bad before you can, and then you already know your level of good, and then now you got to fit it in the bad location.
Yeah, and I love how, by the way, our reaction to Deadpool, people, we were like, yeah, I'm like, it's in my top 5. Like, instantly, after I saw it for top 5. This one, I'm like, no, it's not even in my top 20. Fuck that shit.
Yeah.
Chris.
Where would I rank it? I don't know. It's not really in my top movies either. It's kind of.
Fuck that.
It's kind of. I don't think it deserved this low Rotten Tomatoes score that it got. I think it's slightly better than Daredevil, only because the characters in it do very well. I think Ben Affleck is a great Batman. He does Bruce Wayne and Batman very well. So there are pieces of this movie that are very good. I think the characters are well done. Oh, Lex Luthor was terrible.
Do you agree that that there may have been a decent movie in there, but just the failure of all the other side shit and the a lot of the construction of the film is the failure of the film. That's at least my thought of it.
Yeah, and if it would have been constructed, I think somebody said this on Twitter. It's like having a jigsaw puzzle of the Mona Lisa, right? And you have a 5-year-old try to put it together. Yeah, there's a masterpiece in there. There's a masterpiece in there if you put it together correctly, but no.
Yeah, I felt like a lot of the film was just like, it just felt like the order of things just didn't, the order of things kind of messed, the jumping around and the order of things kind of fucked up the movie quite a bit.
Uh-oh. We got a bonus question. Is it about Batman? Chris? I don't know. He's not answering. Oh, we could talk. Yeah, I guess we could talk about that afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's just a bonus thing.
Okay, cool. Shit, because we already told everybody there's nothing afterwards. Well, we'll figure it out. Maybe we'll save for next week. Anyway, moving on. Okay, Meb. So he actually had something to say before he even went into his question. He has a bunch of questions, but I'm going to consolidate them because we could offload a lot of these to the spoiler alert. But he goes, I've not asked questions for some time now. He's been busy, but here are my questions. It's mainly related to Batman, Superman. I'm not okay. He says he hasn't seen the movie yet. I don't mind if your answers are spoilers. All the excitement I've had for the movie has gone down the toilet from all my friends and family. What they're saying. So he goes, to me, now that you've seen it twice, do you feel that much was revealed in our trailers? Yeah, the trailers gave it all away. When I did my spoiler-free review, I was just like, yeah, they fight Doomsday. I could freely talk about that because it's in the trailer. I could talk about the fucking Darkseid shit because it's in the trailer. I could talk about Parademons. I could talk about all this shit because it's all in the trailer. So they definitely gave too much away.
Yeah, it was. It's the biggest. It's to be honest, it's the biggest failing of that film. Is the fact that they left absolutely no surprises for you. You were just when you were sitting inside of the theater, you're essentially getting checked. You could have a check mark and try to find out where these things fit in the storyline.
Yeah. I don't think any movie has done just such a disservice where it's like everything you assumed from the trailers is exactly how things played out in the movie. Like, okay, you think like, oh, maybe Jesse Eisenberg's going to redeem himself somewhere. Lex Luthor is good. No, exactly what we assumed is what we got. Exactly, So
we knew that he was going to create Doomsday. We knew that all this, there was some little bits of story plot that didn't show up, but still, again, you could kind of, it was just there was no surprises in that film except for one. And that wasn't really a surprise.
Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't a surprise as soon as they showed Doomsday.
Yeah, like, oh, that's going to happen. By the way, even though we can spoil it, let's try not to if we can. But But you know what happened. Anyway, actually want to skip a couple questions here because this ties into this
Oh
one.
yeah, can I just go back to the question itself? Like they really
go ahead.
did tell you everything that happened in that film.
Everything, dude.
I mean, they introduced Batman has been like guy who's pissed off and angry. He does a lot of like violent stuff in the film. Batman Superman fight. Doomsday gets created by Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor looks evil and pretty much just wears "Hey, I'm a bad guy" T-shirt. The trailer just pretty much tells you everything that you need to know.
Oh yeah, and by the way, there's a fight scene that they showed the whole entirety of before the film, which literally happens toward the end of the film.
They didn't show the whole thing. They showed half of it.
They showed most of that fucking fight scene he has in that, when he's trying to save her. Yeah.
Yeah, and then also Wonder Woman is just randomly there because
the plot demands it.
Because the plot demands it.
No, actually, because the sequels demand it. Sorry.
The sequels demanded. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we told people over the warning already. Yeah, Manny, you're right. When you saw Doomsday, like, oh, they're gonna kill Superman, aren't they?
Yeah. When you first saw the thing, it's like, okay, that looks like Doomsday. They're killing Superman.
Yeah. By the way, I'm gonna skip to this question because it ties into this one. We've all had fears, reservations about Batman, Superman. He goes, mine was that DC was rushing the Justice League onto audiences too soon and wanted their version of the Avengers. What are your and the Throwdown crew's reservations that any of them come to pass? Yes, every single fear we had about them, every last one of them came to pass.
Everything.
I
went number one. The reason why I went is this. I knew I was going into a car wreck.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I
will say one thing. Ben Affleck definitely did a way better job than I thought he was going to do.
I also, except for the fact that he was fucking killing people.
Yeah. Okay. Except for that, yes. But he was still great as Batman and Bruce Wayne. He did a great job. Yeah. The killing stuff I didn't like either. And also Jeremy Irons did a good job. And I thought, why are you choosing this guy to be Alfred? But he actually was really good. So I will say that I was wrong on that. But everything else we were right about.
Mandy, didn't you say he was too cool to be Alfred?
To be honest, he's too cool to be Alfred. Come on. No,
Alfred should be lame.
No, Alfred should be a really great character actor, an actor that you don't say, oh hey, that's Jeremy Irons, or oh hey, that's Michael Caine.
Yeah.
To me, I as much as I dug their performances, but I feel like they're so entrenched with who they are, rather than the actual characters. Personally, I think my favorite Alfred is actually the first one. At least not the first one, but the one from the Tim Burton Batmans. Yeah. That guy, memorable. He had that great wit. He gave the information that he needed to give, and he didn't. He wasn't. I didn't feel like he was chewing up any scenery though. But I feel like these guys' reputations kind of overshadow the character that they're playing.
Interesting. All right, and Brian, I know you said that all your fears came true, basically.
Oh yeah, everything I thought would be annoying about this film was pretty much annoying about this film, which was it was rushed together and cobbled together simply to catch up, and that's what it was, which was a shame because, as Manny said, there is a really good film in there, just that if they removed a lot of the crap, it would be like really cool.
It's a great film.
I personally think that they should have just made this Batman: Dawn of Justice and removed the Superman side from it.
Well,
I should have had a better Batman movie just by itself.
Listen, that goes to what I've said. On the spoiler, I'm gonna say it here. This movie didn't need to fucking exist.
It doesn't really need to exist.
What should have happened, and this leads into the other question. Let me just ask it first before I go into my little diatribe here. Do you feel as I do that Man of Steel should have had a sequel first with a solo Batman movie at the same time, possibly ending with the events that transpired at the end of Man of Steel? Yep, and then that would have set up Batman versus Superman. No, this is what should have happened. We should have Man of Steel 2, couple Batman movies, Wonder Woman, Flash, all those guys, right? Fuck Batman, Superman. You have 6 films or 5 going to Justice League. The problem with this movie is, and Manny, you said it correctly. You said this feels like 5 movies in one. You know why?
It is.
Because it is 5 movies in one. Basically, they did what Marvel took in 5 movies and did it in one film, and that's why it feels so disjointed and
the whole idea of Superman. The whole idea of Superman being called out for all the for the things that he did in trying to save people. I think that was such a good thing right there. I
They
was like,
should have
oh
had
man,
the Senate hearing, man. I really wanted that.
The Senate hearing should have happened. Like just all of that coming to pass. It's like it even questions the actions of all superheroes.
Yeah.
It's like, what is the cost? You're stopping one guy, but you just you inadvertently killed thousands.
Yeah. It's funny. This movie could have worked kind of as originally planned. It was supposed to be Man of Steel 2, and Batman shows up. You could have had their little fight and stuff, but still be a Superman movie, without all this. Because the big problem with the movie is half of it is set up for Justice League. That's the main issue here.
I feel like
it's not even about Batman versus Superman. That's the smallest portion of the movie.
Yeah, like most of it, like I said this before the show too. It's like it seems like every single time that the film has a little bit of a break, there's a break from the actual story of the film. They have to give you essentially a commercial for the movies that are going to come. I mean, as cool as that fucking Batman Dream shit was. That shit caught me. It was like, what the fuck did we just watch?
Yeah, like, let's stop the movie and throw this in there now.
I'm like, me and my girlfriend looked at each other. What the fuck was that? And then it's like, oh wait, we're back. Stories, Batman, Superman. It's like every single time me and my girlfriend were joking too. It's like every single time somebody one of the main characters is alone, they have to meander about what's going to be coming up in the next films. It's not like you can't just have a quiet moment. No, you have to literally watch a preview for the next films.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna skip to this other one. I'm skipping right here. Do you feel that Batman vs Superman should have been split into two movies? I remember there being a rumor that it was meant to be split into two movies at one time. No, it just shouldn't have existed.
It should have been two separate films where like Batman and Superman had their own films instead of like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Wonder Woman. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, she should have. Well, she has her own film coming soon, so
she does. But
they felt they need to shoot it in like this much. I don't know why.
The thing is that they also, you could have thrown in the Wonder Woman thing could have been thrown in there. Like if she was just at those dinner parties and she didn't show up at the end, that's fine. And you just have that one picture at the end where it's like, oh shit, she's Wonder Woman. Bam, that's it. You didn't even need that. But the thing is, it's like she had to get involved too. A character that has really no character development. It's just like, hey guys, I saw you're fighting. I'm just gonna fight too.
Well, I'll steal Brian's line. It's because the plot demanded it.
Yeah,
because the plot demanded it.
I mean, she got off. She literally. Oh wait, we can't spoil anything. Can't spoil.
Yeah, we can.
But
yeah, we can go for
it.
We
can.
We gave the people a warning. Fuck it.
She got up. We said this on the spoiler cast. She literally, for no reason, gets off that plane and goes to join the fight, right? Mm-hmm. And then it was just to show them working together as a team. Like, that's how they beat Doomsday as a team. She lassos him, and Batman shoots him with the gas, and then so Superman can stab him.
Which, by the way, I felt like, oh, hey, look, we're in video game time. It's all a video game now.
Yeah, it was just teamwork. The plot demanded that they work together as a team, and so that's what happened.
I love how the Doomsday fight just showed how useless Batman is. I mean, he literally does nothing throughout the whole fight apart from just stand there. I feel bad, because I really did like Batman in this film. Bar the killing part. The killing part was kind of dumb, but the whole overall thing was pretty cool. But then the last fight, he just did nothing.
Yeah, he just
did nothing.
Yeah, he literally ran away from Doomsday at one point. Like, okay, Batman could disappear because Doomsday lost him. But that's all he could do, right? Just vanish.
All right. The next question here: comparing Batman, Superman to the current Marvel's, MCU movies that we've had to date, you think it's on par or better than any of them? No, it's not on par. No, it's not better.
No, it's even close. I can't even say it's better than Iron Man 2 and 3.
It's not. It's not.
Those are the low points in Marvel, and that's saying a lot.
The low points of Marvel are still higher than this.
Yeah.
It was my bird.
Yeah, it's a bird. I want bird. That's better. That's better. Give me bird.
Yeah. Okay, and in case anyone that likes this film is watching, please answer me why Wonder Woman was in that last fight, because I would love to know, because I can't figure it out, and no one else that says that this film was good has been able to tell me why. So please tell me why Wonder Woman was in that final fight.
I can say here's the thing about it. I can understand it from wanting to see these characters in film and all this stuff. That's very fun.
Justice League though.
But that's very fun. But that film wasn't even fun. You know what I mean? It was literally it was
funny.
It was funny unintentionally. Like me and my girlfriend were laughing at the fucking part where Batman's driving his car through walls and through boats and literally running people over in other cars.
Exploding them.
Or how about fish lining a car and then swinging it around like a mace to hit other people with it.
That action scene does not even need to be in the fucking film. It's just to kind of remind you that, oh, hey, Batman can do some shit. If you think about it, most of this film was literally just set up for the 10-minute fight that they have, and then a doomsday fight.
Yeah, go ahead, Brian. Then I got to jump in.
Yeah, that scene is totally out of Just Cause 3.
It is.
Yes. Obviously he's been playing a lot of Just Cause.
Yeah, but this is what I said on the spoiler alert yesterday, Manny. I'm pretty sure you'll agree with me. You know what they should have done instead? Instead of having that unnecessary car chasing, you should have had the necessary Batman actually getting the fucking kryptonite scene. Him being the shit out of thugs and stuff. You know, why not have that?
Well, the thing is that it also totally negates it because he doesn't need to actually have that action scene at all because he shot it with a fucking homing device. He could have just went home and said, "Hey, Alfred, make me some tea." Oh, it just stopped. Okay, I'm going there.
Exactly, and then you have that action sequence of him getting in there because you saw the aftermath. You know, the place was all fucked up because he was in there getting the kryptonite. Just go skip to that. Skip the fucking.
But they needed that chase to have Superman just appear from nowhere. Because the plot demands it.
Also, my girlfriend made fun of the essentially Lois Lane's apparent life alert.
Like how? Wasn't Superman in the Arctic or something?
He's just in tuned with her anywhere that she is, and he'll just anytime that some sort of somewhat danger is happening, he just goes, "Boop, I'm here."
Wait, somebody pointed this out. Lois Lane should have been throwing that little ass Lex Luthor off the building. She was taller than him. Get the fuck out of here. That little bitchy, skinny, bitchy kid, she should have been like, he'd be like, "Hey, I'm gonna throw you." Like, "No, motherfucker, I'm throwing you off the building." See ya.
Yeah, wasn't she supposed to be? Wasn't she supposed to be this tough reporter in this one?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what they, to all the people that kind of criticize this stuff. Well, they essentially just turned her into a constant damsel in distress.
Yep, she got saved by Superman 3 times. So I think that in this and Man of Steel, I think that's a total of 5 times she's been saved by Superman.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Also, that guy in the desert scene, the beginning when they go to that the terrorist guy's place.
Yeah.
And that guy is credited as Jimmy Olsen. So you tell me Jimmy Olsen is now dead?
Yeah, that's kind of fucked up. You just killed Jimmy Olsen. You know. Oh, and I found out the worst news of all. Remember the rumor that Bryan Cranston was supposed to play Lex Luthor? Turned out it wasn't a rumor. He went in to play Lex Luthor, and Jesse Eisenberg went in there to play Jimmy Olsen, but then Zack Snyder was like, "I want a younger Lex Luthor. I'm going to get Jesse Eisenberg instead."
God damn it.
The Brett Awakens.
I've been here. I haven't seen the movie yet, so I can't really say much, but now, God damn it.
The dawn of Brett.
But here's the other thing. If it was Bryan Cranston, he would have had all these really horrible lines.
No, but Zack Snyder specifically said, it's like, man, that would have been a different movie if I would have cast him. Yeah, because you had to work around him, and it probably would have been a better movie. It would have been a Lex Luthor that we would have been intimidated by.
And the great thing about Bryan Cranston is he's a lot of range, so he can be jovial at a party and then menacing as a villain.
Yeah.
That sounds like something you were kind of fucking. Oh God, I'm gonna have a fucking stroke over here.
Yeah. That's so stupid.
We broke Brett.
Yeah, we broke Brett. Breaking Brett.
Oh God, I turn my back and start thinking about a Ghost Rider show for 5 fucking minutes, and then I get pulled back to this bullshit.
Yeah, and by the way, people, Brett is going to see the movie just so he's not that one guy who didn't see the movie. He's not really enthusiastic about seeing it.
Oh no. I'm gonna go to a matinee so they get as little of my money as possible.
Hey, listen, I used my, I'm part of the Regal Crown Club thing, and I got a free ticket after I saw Deadpool. I knew exactly what movie I was going to use that on.
That is awesome.
Smart thinking. Don't give them your money. I didn't give them my money either, so I'm happy about that. Fuck that shit. You know. Okay, and the last
go to a matinee if you really want to see it. Go on a Wednesday. Some places have wacky Wednesdays where you only need to pay like $4.
Yeah,
I'm going to the $5 Monday matinee tomorrow.
There you go. Yeah, don't fully support this stuff. You know. Okay, so the last question from Epps, very good one. How do you feel Civil War will perform, both financially and critically, against Batman vs Superman?
Critically, way better. Way fucking better.
Way better. It's gonna. You already know this movie's one of the most panned movies like in the last who knows how many years. You know, so that's definitely gonna happen. As far as money goes, okay, apparently this movie already made $424 million worldwide, which is fucking crazy.
God damn it.
Yeah, I know, Brett. I know. I'm upset too. It's like, so you support the murdering Batman? That's what you're telling me. You're telling me that characterization doesn't mean shit to you. That's what you people are telling me. You know. So
remember how much of a point they made it in the last film, in the Nolan Batman film, that he did not kill.
Yeah, but now this Batman's like, fuck it, I'm killing everything. You know.
So at this point, is it basically like, if I make Red Man, right, and I make a Red Man comic, and his whole thing is that he's red, and that's it. Like, he has no other qualifying factors. When they make a movie, some asshole will go, you know what? We should make him blue. You know what? Just change it a little bit, you know, so we have a fresh take on Red Man. Let's make him blue.
Yeah, I need to go off on Zack Snyder for a little bit here. Okay, so he is justifying his murdery Batman because he killed in The Dark Knight Returns, and he cited the specific panel. He goes, there's a panel where Batman breaks through a wall, grabs a machine gun, and shoots the guy right between the eyes. So I'm like, hold on, am I bugging here? Because I don't remember that happening. I took out my book, I opened it up. This is what I see. Batman comes through the wall, he takes the machine gun, he shoots the guy behind the wall. He shoots the guy near his head, but behind the wall. The guy drops the kid. That's what happened. I'm like, Zack Snyder, he didn't shoot him between the fucking eyes. What are you talking about? And then that same book, Batman, because remember how
the Sons of Batman, right?
Yeah, the Sons of Batman. They all had guns ready, and Batman took their gun. He's like, no, he breaks it. This is the enemy of, this is the weapon of the enemy. We don't use this. We will not use this. So I'm like, okay, you're quoting The Dark Knight here, yet you don't understand what this book was about, and it upsets me because Zack Snyder, it's clear he is a comic book fan, but at the same time, he doesn't understand the fucking source material. That is really disturbing.
Is he a comic book fan? He said he went back and read all of them, but does that because he was generally interested in it, or was trying to do...
You could tell he's one of those guys. I can see it in his eyes. He likes comic book characters and stuff, but he just doesn't understand them very well. I've known guys like that where they get really yeah, I read this. I'm like, did you read the same story I did, bro? Because no, they kind of see it like through meathead filter. You know what I mean? Oh,
yeah, like I get it. There's been a point where we've all wanted a superhero to murder somebody, but even me, I got really mad at certain characters. I was like, just fucking kill him, just please fucking kill him. But they don't, and at the end of the day, I'm happy for it, and that's paying homage to who the character is. It's just I can't help but feel like next time they're like, what if Batman doesn't have a zip line? What if he has super speed? Like I don't know where they're gonna go with it next. They've given the Batman supervillain treatment to Batman himself now.
Yeah, and by the way, go ahead, Manny.
I also want to say that the fact that he now kills people, it doesn't make him, and trivially, it literally doesn't make him any different than the people that he is following. I do understand in the film that they were trying to push that, push the fact that Batman may have been going too far, that he has kind of gone over the edge. But because of all the other bullshit in the film, there was never anything that could do that. Like there was anything that they could show that, or in other words, a growth of a character.
Yeah. If they're gonna show him going over the edge, they gotta show him not over the edge. You can't rely on other people's stories to build your narrative off of.
To me, that could have built off of that sort of thing. That Batman has finally gone over the edge.
But what's funny is
that is the difference between Superman and Batman. One of the differences between Superman and Batman.
They messed up though, because they made the whole point, which is what Superman wants him to stop, is because he's branding guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then they go into prison and then they get killed or something because the brand is basically a death sentence, as they call it, and he wants to do a story in that. And then he goes to confront Batman about that. He doesn't talk about Batman actually murdering anyone, right? Which is what he's actually doing, right? He's pissed about the branding.
Yeah,
it's like, no, you should be pissed that he's killing people. And to bring up a point you brought up, Manny, why does Batman have crazy gadgets? Why does he have batarangs? Why does he have all this shit? Because he doesn't use guns.
Exactly. He has. Okay, why is he going to murder somebody with a fucking boomerang if he can just do it with a gun? Then just give him 2 fucking guns and make him the Shadow.
Yeah.
or Thomas Wayne.
Yeah, make a Flashpoint Batman.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I can't help but every time I see this, I was like, that's not Bruce Wayne. That's Thomas Wayne.
But the thing is that if you want to go back to the original Batman, he was kind of considered like a pulp hero, and he did murder people. But essentially, the Comics Code came along and said, "All right, you got to adhere to these certain things," and that's when the change in Batman happened. And
it's not even the murdering people. It's he doesn't use guns because that's what killed his parents.
Exactly. Yeah. But he takes a machine gun and he mows down a bunch of guys. He fucking shoots a guy with a gun.
Yeah, like it makes no sense. Like it's not like that's the thing that bothers me. It's not a morality thing. It's not like Batman has decided like guns are the thing that are the root of all evil, and guns allow criminals to be criminals. So I will make a moral stand and be different from them. No, Batman hates guns. He picks up a gun. He's like, because his parents were fucking murdered by guns. He has like PTSD associated with guns. Guns are a trigger for his highly painful past to come back and haunt him. He has like this deep-seated emotional, like pathological hatred for guns. It's not like he's going to accidentally pick up one. It is like ingrained into the morality of who he is. It's not a statement on society. It's a statement on his own pain, and that is character depth right there that you're just fucking grazing over. You're making it seem like, oh, Batman doesn't like guns because he's an anti-gun guy. Like, no, it goes so much deeper than that. He watched his parents murdered in front of him with a gun.
Not to reference another show we've been watching, but this sticks to Batman. Basically, Batman is constantly living in that moment where his parents were killed, right? He is constantly living it, right? So him picking up a gun is this, him seeing a gun is bringing him right back to that moment because he's never left that moment, right? So that's an intrinsic part of the character. Keeping, having him negate that, it's like you said, Brett. Why is this guy red? How can you have Red Man be Blue Man? You're taking away a fundamental characterization of the character itself. And this isn't like saying, oh, but you're okay with Superman killing. That's because Superman will kill if he absolutely has to. Think about Superman's most famous battle with Doomsday. How did he win that? He fucking killed Doomsday. After he exhausted every option, he's like, okay, I got to kill this motherfucker. Batman will not do that. Why do you think Joker's still running around? Batman, as a matter of fact, Batman has said, I want to kill the Joker, but I can't do it. He's that psychologically fucked up.
Yeah, he's mentally limited. And there's another good reason. Like if you break that, it breaks a lot of other things that actually make sense about Batman. Like Batman chases Two-Face and the Riddler and Joker. So why is Batman going to stop to foil every fucking mugging? Because Batman is physically incapable of watching a firearm being pointed at an innocent person and not going a little bit, don't pardon the pun, I don't care, batshit crazy. Like he will flip out and beat the shit out of you if you point a gun at somebody. He will stop what he is doing.
Let alone a child.
Yeah.
And then the crazy thing is, and here's where the movie got it right. Batman is about to kill Superman, right? He's about to shell his kryptonite spear in his heart. Superman goes, save Martha. That snaps Batman out of it. Why? That's his mother's name. Remember, he's still living in that moment. He's like, oh shit, I can save Martha now. You know, Batman is constantly in that moment, so him picking up a gun betrays all that. You know, like I understand Batman will use a gun-like thing if he needs to, like to shoot like a tripwire or something, you know, or to shoot something, you know. But to use a gun against another person is something that's very un-Batman-like. And this isn't like, oh, superheroes aren't supposed to kill. No, Batman is specifically not supposed to kill because he is incapable of doing it.
It's also part of his story.
Yeah.
There have been points where he should have killed somebody and he didn't, and that person comes back and hurts or murders somebody Batman loves, and he's sitting there with the heavy regret of, I should have killed this person.
Exactly.
If I would have just gone ahead and done it, none of this would have happened. But then he like clings to this like a safety blanket. It's the good and the bad. It's the duality. It's the gray area. It's what humanizes Batman. You can't get rid of that. It is the foundation on what his character is built out of. And it's the only thing, it's the only reason a million little things that Batman does actually make sense because of this subtle neurosis that he has based upon past traumatic events.
Mm-hmm. And that's also, remember, the whole thing of him not killing is also what, remember, it's always the thing of Batman is no different than his villains, right? They're really psychologically fucked up. This is Batman's psychosis right there. The fact that he won't kill people. It's not that he puts on a fucking mask. It's that he is incapable of killing someone even when he knows he absolutely needs to.
Because he understands the creation of a monster. Because Batman was created by that traumatic event. Exactly. And so he understands a traumatic event can create a monster the same way it can create a hero. And that gray area is like the substance. It is the psychology. It is the entire meat behind the entire Batman catalog is what makes a hero, what makes a villain. Does a hero make a villain? Like without that, Batman's just some jackass running around in tights. Like you can't ruin what makes everything about the story good.
Yeah, and again, just to the people who are okay with it, I'm not saying that. I mean, I want to say wrong, but I can't say that. If you like it, I'm not happy with it, but I just don't understand you. It's like, we both read Batman, we both like the same character. What is it that you don't understand about this character? That I get. You know what I'm saying? Like that is how I.
These are the same people that want to see a Harley Quinn that is not severely codependent. There's a news fucking flash. The character Harley Quinn is awesome and terrifying because she is ridiculously codependent and subservient to the Joker, but the second she gets off leash, she is fucking terrifying. She will beat you to death with a baseball bat, but then just take punch after punch after punch from the Joker, and you as the reader are sitting there going, what the fuck is going on? That right there, that moment where you're like, what the fuck is going on? That's called a juxtaposition. It's putting unlike elements together to create a unique flavor. And that unique flavor is known as Harley Quinn. You cannot remove one of those without bringing the whole house of cards down on itself. And that's exactly what you've done with Batman.
Yeah, by the way, this whole time we've been talking, I've had this image of Batman from the cartoon picking up a gun and going, oh my God, what I'm doing. Thank you to Kristen. She just reminded me where that's from. It's from Batman Beyond. It was the first episode. Remember old Batman? He was fucked up. He picked up a gun out of kind of instinct, and he's like, whoa, what am I doing? He's just incapable of doing that.
He was at that desperate moment that he was out of his league. He got beat up by the criminals at that point, and he was having having the heart trouble, and he picked up a gun, and then he was like, oh. That was the moment that he realized that he couldn't do it anymore.
Exactly. When he's like, I can't be Batman anymore if I'm going to resort to this. And even going
even the heart of his Silicon Soul from the Batman animated series, where essentially they made a perfect robotic clone of Batman to take over Batman's role, and it was somewhat malfunctioning. It didn't remember, but it still had his what made him he was. And when at the point at the end where he essentially the robot Batman thinks he kills the real Batman, it loses its mind and it essentially just blows up or whatever.
Yeah, because I've taken a life and
I've killed a man. Yeah. What have I done?
Yeah, he snaps because, again, that's the core center of Batman. I'm going to be honest, if you don't understand that, you're not a real Batman fan. I know I'm going to get heat from that. It's like, you're not a real Batman fan.
I know people like to use the Tim Burton Batman as an excuse for the whole killing Batman thing, but I think that film take it, just like a lot of comic book films takes, certain aspects of the character and then just and just uses them. There in Tim, that was the biggest problem with the Tim Burton Batman film, that everybody felt that all of Batman's villains seemed to get more character development than he did.
Yeah.
Where he was just a vehicle. Like, in other words, he had all this insane, crazy bad guys, and then you just have Batman, and he's just there to just knock them out off knock their block off, or drop them off a building.
Now, isn't there even a long and rich history of Batman putting himself personally in danger in an effort to save supervillains?
Yes.
And that's not because not because like, oh, I don't want these people to die, or I like this person, or they deserve better. It's he's just kind of incapable of letting somebody die.
What about the biggest? I remember Tony's biggest and my biggest criticism of the Dark Knight films. Batman Begins. What does he do in that film?
Yeah, he lets
Ra's al Ghul die.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, granted, he didn't do it directly, but it's like Batman would not do that.
He would never do that. He would say...
And I'm glad you bring it up, because people are trying to justify this, right? By saying, he killed in the Nolan movies. And guess what? Every time he did, it was wrong. As a matter of fact, Charles was trying to, sorry, Charles, I got you on this one, man, because he was trying to say that, it's like, in the script it says Batman killed the guy. I'm like, yeah, and that's wrong. I don't care if it's in the fucking script. That is wrong. Batman is not supposed to kill anyone. No. I don't care if he did do it. Basically, if Batman did it in film, it doesn't justify it. That is still wrong. That still goes against the fucking character.
Yeah, also
Batman would have Batman in the comics would have saved Ra's al Ghul regardless, and he would have put his ass in jail, because that's what he would do.
And also, they established it at the beginning of the movie, at the League of Assassins, when they asked him to kill that dude, and they said, he's committed all these crimes. He doesn't do it, right?
Yeah, he didn't do it. Yeah.
Instead, he goes against the whole league, and he fights his way out.
Furthermore, and I'm pretty sure this has happened on multiple occasions, he doesn't kill Ra's al Ghul. He saves him with the Lazarus Pit. Ra's al Ghul does go to prison. Ra's al Ghul gets out, and somebody goes, "You should have fucking killed him." And his response is like almost always, "That's not how we do things."
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not even open for discussion, man.
Or if we want to use the Red Hood movie and that one, where he's like, which tribe was it?
It's Jason Todd.
Jason Todd was like, if you just got past that thing in you, you could have killed this guy and saved me.
Yeah, it's true. There's been so many instances of Batman, even Batman knowing, it's like, shit, I really should have fucking killed this guy, but he can't. He just is incapable of doing it. That's how
he knows it ahead of time. He's like, I should really let this guy die. Ugh.
Exactly, and it comes up over and over again. Why does it come up over and over again? Because it's a core character trait that you cannot change. If you change that, it's no longer Batman anymore. It's just a different character altogether.
Which is weird that he sets out this,
guys, man. I don't understand.
It's weird that he sets out this movie to kill Superman, isn't it?
Yeah, that is his goal. I'm going to kill Superman, and he kills a lot of thugs along the way.
We've gone from Batman won't even commit a crime of passion to Batman's planning premeditated murder. Like, that seems like a wide leap to me.
Oh, and here's the best part. Again, the source book, The Dark Knight Returns. Batman doesn't set out to kill Superman. He sets out, I'm going to beat Superman, and I want him to know that it was a regular man that beat him. That was his goal. His goal was not to kill Superman. He wanted Superman to know he was beaten by a man. And this one, no, I'm going to kill Superman.
Yeah, he wanted Superman to know that he wasn't better than humans.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, even in any incarnation of Batman ever, a fight with Superman wouldn't be, I'm going to kill him. It's going to be, I'm going to use my super awesome detective powers and database to trick him into a situation where I can bring him down in power level and then imprison him by exploiting his weakness through kryptonite and red sunlight and probably a fucking bat prison that circles the moon, entirely encircled and made out of kryptonite. Who the fuck knows? But that's what Batman does. That's what makes him so awesome. Is Batman would beat the shit out of him with a kryptonite boxing glove or something like that, and then everybody's there like, what are you gonna do with him? He's like, this. Presses a button, a fucking missile comes up, encapsulates him, flies into the atmosphere, connects with a satellite, and Superman ends up prisoned, like, orbiting Earth for 30 years. Because Batman's awesome like that.
Yes.
He has so many gadgets that you're like, there is no way that you have blank, blank, and blank. And he's like, oh yeah, want to bet? He's like Tony Stark like that, but I don't know who's making his shit. He just has it.
Yeah.
You know
Man.
what would have been awesome if Batman took that spear in the movie and threw it aside, and he's like, "I just wanted you to know you were this close to death, and I want you to also know that it was just a man that beat you.
Yeah,
Not
I
a
said
god,
that on,
not a
I
hit-
said that on Spoilercast, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They missed a huge opportunity.
Yeah, like he
there
could.
to do that.
You didn't even need to play the fucking Martha shit. You
Yeah.
could have just. He could have just said. He could have just went ka-ching right next to his head.
Exactly. Man.
But again, because
Exactly.
there had to be this whole. They had to work Doomsday. They had to work all this other bullshit into the film. There was nothing you could do about that.
All right,
And you literally cast Batman as a fucking maniac.
I need
what
to
they
say this
did.
on air.
Yeah.
I need to say this on air.
Go for
I
it.
swear to God, if you start pulling this Death of Superman, Doomsday, fucking like Superboy coming back bullshit, I will harm somebody. I will physically throttle the closest person to me.
Yo, I had one more problem I didn't even voice on Spoilercast. But, dude, okay, when Batman realizes he needs to go back for the spear, right, because of Doomsday, how the fuck does Lois Lane know to go into the damn pool that she threw it in to go get it?
Spider sense.
No,
Yes.
that goes back to Brian's because the plot needed her to. Like, it's almost like she clairvoyantly was like, "Oh shit, I should go get that back," for no reason.
Aren't you aware, Chris, now that they've retconned Lois Lane into a super genius?
Oh no, no, because
I'm
she
not-
spent
I'm
half
not
the
even
movie,
kidding.
like she spent half the movie looking into a fucking bullet instead of anything else that was important. What is it made of?
Chris,
It's
you kind of
classified.
led me to a really funny thing in the movie theater when I was watching it, right? During that part, it's like, how are we gonna start Doomsday? This girl next to me, she screams, "Bitch, get the spear!" And then a little bit after that, she's like, "Bitch, you better swim." Oh man, I love watching movies.
And then of course, Lois Lane's life alert went off, and then Superman went whoop and got her.
Yeah, hey, it was like, you remember the knocking and stuff?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Brett.
I want to sidetrack the conversation for a minute, as I'm prone to do. Like, I got into a conversation with my buddy today. Like, why can they not just fucking even out Superman's goddamn power set? Like, that is the biggest hurdle to making Superman a relatable and believable character. And like, I will tell you, the end point we came to this discussion, like, why not just refocus Superman's powers on solar radiation? Maybe his power set is he's a giant solar battery. He can then release that and direct that energy maybe behind him to create wind so that he can, fly. Maybe he can store it and shoot it out of its eyes in pure thermal energy. But then maybe get rid of shit like fucking ice breath. And maybe then you have an entire power set that's based off a certain spectrum of solar radiation. What happens if you focus...
He doesn't have ice breath in this one, though.
No, I know, but I'm saying just in overall, like, just
okay.
retcon Superman's whole character and give him an easily explainable, easily exploitable power set. Like, I like the whole thing, like, if he gets too much solar radiation, he explodes. Like, let's just make him a solar radiation battery. Like, he's got super strength, he does have incredible speed because he's storing so much power, he can release the power through his eyes, and he can fly. Boom, that's it. Then maybe we explore the different wavelengths of solar radiation. Maybe we find out that ultraviolet radiation, when condensed into a beam, can weaken Superman. Red light is just the absence of yellow light, so we go to the other end of the spectrum. Maybe that can weaken him. Maybe these beams are so expensive that they can only manufacture a few in the highest super science facilities in the world, and so therefore you only have one squad of anti-Superman soldiers. Maybe then you have to deal with Superman having to use his intellect of, are they waiting for me? Is this a trap? He's really good at impromptu rescues and coming in and helping out, but he's easily foiled by leading into a trap, so he has to lead on, I don't know, maybe Batman for more support, which puts him in more even keel with the rest of the superhero lineup. Just a fucking thought.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I like that, actually. Just base all his powers around one specific thing. I wouldn't be against that.
I hate to get super nerd about it, but Naruto is one of the best shows to actually giving you a here's where a person's power comes from, here's how you exploit it. That's why it's one of the few animes that can run for like 8 fucking consecutive years without giving into the power creep. This is not a statement on the quality of Naruto, by the way.
By the way, this is a little bit of a sidetrack too, but somebody said this on Twitter, and I have to, you just said something, and I have to bring it up, right? Every time any one of us says, I'm sorry for getting super nerdy, it lets you know that somebody in your past heard you get really excited about something, told you, don't do that, stop doing that, you're being a nerd. It's very sad. You know what I mean, Brett? Somebody
I didn't even think of it that way.
Yes, because you just said, I'm like, hey, you like, oh, I'm sorry for being nerdy, and I'm like, which show are we on, dude? What are you apologizing to? But yeah,
I think you get used to people arguing semantics with you. Be like, yeah, like I'm gonna get really down to like the nitty gritty here and be like fucking uber nerdy about it. And you might be like, okay, that's going a little too far, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
But it's also that I feel is also like a bit of a defense move from all of that stuff,
Yeah,
from people from being, because essentially they essentially will negate your argument because you're being nerdy about something.
Yeah.
They'll be like, oh well, you're just nerdy about this. It's just bullshit. And then they'll walk away from you. You're like, no, you.
Yeah, so that's
you guys just blew my mind.
Yeah, no, it was a really good tweet. I never thought about that because basically, it was one of those things where it's like, somebody quotes a tweet, right? The original quote was the girl going, I'm sorry for getting really nerdy. I'm just really, really excited about X. And then the above quote says, that somewhere along this girl's life, somebody told her that the thing she loves is stupid and she shouldn't talk about it. I'm like, damn, that's true. Shit. How many times have we said that? Oh, I'm sorry for getting nerdy, but why? Because we've had assholes. Oh, you're getting nerdy now.
Dude, that segues exactly back into why we're all so very upset about this argument. We have had to defend Batman for the last 30 fucking years, and now they're trying to sweep it out from under our feet and act like we should be fucking grateful for the crumbs that they toss us because, look, we're putting Batman in a movie. Why aren't you fucking happy?
Yeah, and here's the other thing I'm going to listen. I don't give a fuck. I'm going off right now. I don't care if I have to go to work tomorrow. I got some shit to say, man. Okay, somebody told me, like, Tony, why do you care that people are enjoying this version of Batman? And my reasoning is, and I was called an elitist for this too, by the way. I said, because that is the wrong interpretation of Batman. That is not the Batman that people like me have grown up reading. That is a bastardization version of Batman. And if that becomes accepted, that means the real Batman's going to get changed, right? And that's fucked up. That's my main beef with this, You're bastardizing this fucking character, and it's not right. Look at this, almost $500 million, right, for a version of Batman that's completely and utterly wrong. And to me, that is offensive, It's fucked up. All right, and the last thing here, Mr. Corey, Red Inferno, personal gripes aside, do you think Ben Affleck did a good job as Batman in Batman vs Superman? Will you see the Ben Affleck directed, starred solo Batman film? Again, if it wasn't for him killing, he would be the best on-screen Batman. Because he felt like Bruce Wayne, he felt like Batman, and neither side felt awkward. He was perfect in that role. Except for the killing shit. The killing shit gives it to Bale by proxy, and I don't like that because Bale was not a good Batman, but he wasn't killing people deliberately with fucking guns.
I don't know, man. I have some crow to eat, actually, a little bit. Like, I have said time and time again, I don't think it matters who you put in the Batman costume. Every time I see a picture of Affleck, man, I can't help but notice how, like, he looks like Ben Affleck in a mask. Like, he's got these kind of like a fat front to his face, like these kind of like pronounced cheeks instead of cheekbones. And like every time I see him in the Batman mask, I'm like, that looks ill-fitting, and like his face is crammed in there, and it looks very much like Ben Affleck as Batman. And I never really realized how much the facial structure under the mask, I guess, needed to kind of match to a certain extent. Maybe it's costuming rather than casting, but. Like, especially when you see him in like the helmeted Batman mask, like he really, like, you kind of squint and you can kind of tell how it would look like it would in the comic book, but then you really start to look at it and you're like, that face looks weird. His cheeks look too big, and his eyes look like they're going to land about 2 inches below the eyes of the mask, which makes no sense to me. It doesn't look right.
I don't know. I disagree with that. I think he looks like the Batman from the comics. This is the closest to Batman that we had, from the comics probably forever, really, except for maybe the Adam West one, because he looked like that, But yeah, he looks like Batman. I don't see those issues you're talking about.
I personally, as an acting standpoint, I definitely think he made up for Daredevil.
Yes, he did. Yes,
I do think he made up for Daredevil. I don't think he looks like Batman in the suit. but I'm willing to deal with it. Just like how I don't think that Christian Bale looks right in the bat suit either.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think the person who had the best looking Batman face, Batman cowl, was Keaton.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I could agree with
That
that.
felt like that was a Batman face right there. This kind of weird, like, it looked like he looked like it was fat no neck man, you know. I'm like, how do you move? You look like I said to my girlfriend, he looks like a couch. He's all stuffed.
Yeah.
I want to poke him. Be like, you know, maybe if I poke him too hard, the air might fly out of his suit.
So, but what do you think of his performance then?
I thought his performance was fine. I think it felt believable. I think he did a good job with it, and I do, but I feel like he also lacked a little bit of lightness, and that's the film in general. I kind of liked
in general, yeah.
as far as Christian Bale's performance as Batman, I thought was weird, but I thought his Bruce Wayne was kind of interesting.
Yeah, but
and that he was willing to make a joke or two with Alfred, not just be like, they did nothing, you know, like every point, you know, like it's like, okay, we get it, you know, can we get a little bit, you know, lighten up a little bit.
Yeah, well, I still think for the movie, it's like you could lighten up a little bit, guys.
There's what is there? Only 3 jokes in the film.
Yeah, the whole film. You know, it's like, come on.
I'm not saying that the film should be jokey. I mean, if you look at a lot of Keaton's performance, he's playing that thing pretty damn serious, with the exception of a couple of.
Get nuts. Get nuts.
Well, like even that, I think in general for the way Michael Keaton worked as Batman is he looks unhinged. He looks like he could be a guy crazy enough to put on a fucking bat suit.
Yes. You know, Chris, what do you think of Bat? Actually, you already said pretty much that you like Ben Affleck's at Batman's.
Yeah, I think he did a good job as both. I think the costume, actually, I liked it.
Yeah, I like it.
I mean, I know you could see his face through it, kind of, but I liked the costume. I thought it was pretty good. I mean, they were obviously making him look like Dark Knight Returns Batman.
I just felt like he just looked too fat. Like he shouldn't be as agile as he is.
He was stocky, but then so was that one, and for once he wasn't wearing rubber armor. I think that to me was like a nice change.
I also felt like the texture of it. I didn't like the texture of his suit. It looked like a wool sweater he was wearing. A wool sweater.
Ugly sweater Batman.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta ask, what about the voice?
Oh, you mean the voice was? Here's the thing. It was I could stand it more than Bale's voice because it was still him just talking normal. But at the same time, it's like, turn that shit off, Batman.
He's talking to fucking. He does
the
same.
Final fight. It's like, dude, he knows you're Bruce Wayne already. Drop that shit.
He's already talking to Alfred in the freaking bat jet, and he's like, you can turn it off, dude.
Yeah, turn it off. It's not as offensive as Bale's because he's not putting on a voice, but it's still stupid.
I mean, here's the thing. All he needs to do, I just feel like all he needs to do, he doesn't need to do anything crazy with his voice, like put a fucking voice changer on there. Just lower his voice, kind of like the way Kevin Conroy used to do in the beginning, where it's like when he would do this Bruce Wayne, he'd be like, "Hey guys," blah blah, and then when he was Batman, he got deeper. He had a little bit on him.
Yeah, but it didn't sound like he gargled acid. Here's the thing I want to say. I've recently in the last week watched 4 of the animated DC movies because they popped up on my Netflix and I went on a binge. So here's my question to DC. So you do know what Batman sounds like? Like there has been you cannot argue. You know what he sounds like. You put out the movies, and he has a consistent sound to Batman's voice. So you do know what Batman should sound like. Why don't you make Batman sound like that?
I joked around. I said we should, it would be great if Kevin Conroy was the voice of Batman in the suit.
That would be amazing.
that somehow when he puts his suit on, he sounds like Kevin Conroy.
And then he's just Ben Affleck when he's Bruce Wayne.
He's Ben Affleck when he's Bruce Wayne.
I also want to add this in here real quick. As far as performances goes, Batman Bruce Wayne was the only character whose motivations I fully understood. I don't understand why Lex Luthor was doing what he was doing. I don't understand why any character was doing what they were doing. Batman was the only one like, okay, I get it. You know, I get where you're coming from. You know, everybody else is like, why?
Why even Perry White? It's like, hey, we should talk about the Bat Vigilante. No, I want you to cover the local sports. Why aren't you covering the sports? Sports is important. Forget Doomsday, forget machines, forget Lex Luthor, forget the Batman. You are covering sports. It's like, why is he covering sports if he's talking about something that important?
Yeah, he's telling his reporters the stories to write. No, you're not really supposed to do that. You know?
Well, you kind of do that.
Kind
Your editor,
But in what world is this not news?
My editors will tell me, but he doesn't tell me. But he doesn't tell me, hey, make it about this. It's like, hey, this is interesting. Talk about that. Not, hey, fabricate this story. There's a difference. Understand? Brian, what do you think of Batfleck?
I thought he was okay for the most part, and I find it funny how no one really seems to have that much of a problem with Batfleck now.
No.
Like before, when it was like first announced, everyone threw their arms in the air and said, "Oh, just fuck this film." But now it's like, oh, okay, it was good. Like,
well,
regardless of which side you sit on, like people are just generally unified that it was okay performance or more.
I think again it's especially with a lot of the what has happened with Ben Affleck and superhero films. It was just to that point where you're just like, ugh, we don't need you, you know.
Yeah. To answer the other part of the question, yeah, I'm pretty excited. Here's the thing. I think one of the problems with these DC movies is probably Zack Snyder, and that's crazy because I like Zack Snyder, but he may be the problem. And from what I've heard, Ben Affleck is a good director, so he may make a pretty good Batman movie.
Here's the thing, but just because a person is a good director doesn't mean they can make gold out of a piece of schlock script or having 1,000 people in your ear saying, no, do this, put this in there, make sure you set that up. That's exactly the reason why the dude who did Scott Pilgrim versus the World left the Ant-Man film.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. You're basically saying Ben Affleck could be really a talented writer, talented director, but if he has the 1,000 people from Warner Brothers telling him what to do,
exactly.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I see what you're saying. They're not going to give him free reign. When you let your directors and writers do what the fuck they want, you get Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2. When you get when you start get a higher budget and the friggin' producers start stepping in, you get Spider-Man 3. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Also, I want to point out, like, there has been a history of botched movies or TV shows, or pretty much anything where the director and the person starring in it are the same person, where it just kind of goes a little off the rails. Like that makes me a little bit nervous that he's starring in it and directing it, because even on like an episode of like House of Cards, you'd be like, damn, this is a Claire heavy episode. Oh, it's directed by the chick who plays Claire. Okay, well that fucking makes sense then. Like there just seems to be a mild conflict of interest that sometimes fuels bad design choices. And I'm not sure if it's based on ego or honestly what it's based on, but it's just,
hey, those Jonathan Frakes episodes of Star Trek were pretty good.
I'm not saying always. That's the thing. It's not always a bad thing. It's just sometimes people fuck it up, and it just depends then, I guess, who is doing it. And I don't know how much faith I have in Ben Affleck, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, I would say that to his credit, he is actually a pretty decent director. If I remember correctly, he directed this film called The Town. Essentially, he was part of like a team that robbed a bank, and then they took this hostage, but then he falls in love with the hostage. And then she's trying to get over her PTSD, and he's trying to help her. But then, of course, like he's still robbing banks and stuff like that. So he's conflicted and blah blah blah. And that was actually a really good film. So he can direct and act in his own films pretty well. But that's not saying that he will act and direct in this next film pretty well. I'm just saying that he has done it before.
Well, that's a good sign, at least.
Yes, that is a good sign.
Yeah, I think also Argo was highly rated. He directed that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, he did, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So that's we're gonna skip that other question because I don't want people missing out on stuff if we clocked out. So that's pretty much that. So let's start wrapping this up. Our second spoiler alert for this movie.
Hey, see how much outrage causes I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, think about it like this: every spoiler alert we've ever done has always been about an hour, right? This is essentially a 3-hour spoiler alert because we're mad.
Can I ask a question?
Longer than the film.
Yeah, longer than that. Go ahead, Brett.
Do you guys think that these movies do well based on the movie itself, or do well based on a combination of legacy from their last movie combined with hype and marketing from this movie?
No,
this one is hype.
Yes,
So,
no, this movie's doing well because Batman and Superman.
Yeah, it's those two names.
That's all you need. That's all you need, man.
It's
I was just about to comment on that.
Yeah,
So
that's
do
all
you-
you need.
Do you think that this movie will do damage to the franchise?
It already has, dude.
Because if we're talking about it's successful because of its previous iterations, will the quality of this iteration harm future?
The thing is, the previous iteration is only Man of Steel.
On the Superman side, yes. On the Batman side, no.
No. Remember, this is the DC cinematic universe now. This is the second movie in that line. Understand?
Since they broke away from Warner Brothers, you mean?
No. They're always Warner Brothers. Remember?
Yeah, that's what I thought. So like, how is
Remember,
this different from the others?
Because the others don't count in this continuity. It's Man of Steel.
Oh yeah, no. In
movie.
this continuity, absolutely. Yeah. I'm not talking about in universe though. I'm just talking about like in the history of Batman.
Oh no, dude! The movie's making a shit ton of money. It's not gonna hurt it at all. It's obviously not hurting it. People don't care. People, I'm just gonna say, people are simple. They just want to see Batman and Superman fighting. That's all they care about. They don't care about anything else. They don't care about a good story, characterization, a plot that makes sense. They don't care about that. They just want to see. Why do you think Transformers movies are so successful?
But that's the thing. They're not anymore.
But they still make a shit ton of money, dude.
No. I mean, are they coming out with a new one I don't know about?
Yes, they are. They're coming up with like a whole new series of Transformers because every single one of them makes billions of dollars, man.
I thought they had worn out their welcome and abandoned that
It's
shit.
the same reason why we're getting a Fast and Furious 8.
Yeah, because the last one made over $1 billion, dude.
Well, but I thought Michael Bay Transformers was enough of an obvious joke to everybody.
No,
like it's a punchline, for Christ's sake. Like I thought that one had at least been shamed into the dark, shadowy recesses of history, and was now possibly being an example for others. But nope, other way around. Fuck me, I guess.
Yep. When this movie was coming out, Batman, actually was it a couple of days before it came out? I was like, this movie is going to be Transformers. It's going to be critically panned and make a fuck ton of money. I've been proven right.
So what, with enough hype and money, is there anything you can do to kill a successful franchise at this point? Or have we just all pretty much shown, like, I don't care, just as long as there's explosions and I know the names of the guy?
You think
Can I just inject real quickly?
Yeah.
Call of Duty still exists every year.
Mm-hmm. Every year. People like simple shit, dude.
Here's the thing: this even goes back to our beloved '80s films. Most of those films were critically panned, and what are those films? Simple revenge films, simple things. What happens in Die Hard? These sorts of things are constants. It's just now you can even turn the bar even lower.
Mm-hmm. Because man, here's the thing, because you keep bringing that up as an example, right? I say this, those movies were simple, they were critically planned, but if you watch them now, they still hold up. You can't even say that about Batman vs Superman next week.
No, you can't say that because the thing is, in its simplest form, you can just bring it down to a certain level, and it doesn't matter. One thing about action films is that they're pretty much universal. You don't need to. You don't need to have a lot of knowledge in order to understand them. And it's in its whole, and even this film with all its bullshit plots that go nowhere and disjointed editing that it has, it's still a simple film.
Yeah. I don't know about simple because this is a fucking horrible mess, but. All right, so
It's a simple film. What is it? Batman versus Superman. Bam, that's it right there.
That's all
Just said what the fucking film is about.
And when I was online, people were like, "Why are they fighting each other?" Like, regular people don't know, so they're curious, you know. And a
That's
lot of
it.
people, yeah, they don't know. And then, like I've read, people don't, they're happy. They're like, "Dude, I got to see Batman, Superman fight each other. This is awesome." That's all they care about.
That's it. That's all it is. That's all it needed for people.
You
God, that
know.
hurts my soul.
I know, man. I know, Brett. I know.
I'll just remember the film Idiocracy.
Yep.
That movie is less comedy every year.
It
Yeah,
really
shit.
is. Oh man! All right, let's wrap it up. Thank you for watching and listening. Leave us your questions in the comment section on the Coalition or on YouTube. We can answer them on next week's show. Make sure to follow the Coalition at thecoalition.com. Also help support the site by donating to our Patreon page. Subscribe to Throwdown on SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and on Twitter at Throwdown Show. Links are available in the description below. Once again, our show is Tony Polanco and tonight's run by Emilio Lopez.
It's okay, Spider-Man. You were the only good thing that was shown during the Superman Batman film.
Oh. Yeah.
Brett Murdoch.
I'm gonna have to go watch Deadpool again after Superman vs. Batman just to watch this taste out of my mouth.
Oh man.
Oh, man.
Chris Seeley.
At least Civil War is coming, guys.
Yes. And of course, Brian Majoma.
Okay, I say that the best thing to come out of Batman vs Superman was the Batman trailer for the Lego movie.
Yes, I'm more excited. I think I tweeted this before the thing. I'm more excited to see Lego Batman the movie than Superman
shit.
Batman.
Lego Batman's gonna be awesome.
Oh man. All right, guys. We'll see you around later.